Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thursday Night Forum, and to anybody who's celebrating out there, happy 4th of July, happy Independence Day to all of the Americans out there. Gary, how you been?
Doing good. Hello there, everybody out there that joins us. So Raya, I'm doing good. Doing good. I was gone for like basically 8 days,
A
so I
week?
missed, so I missed a lot of shows.
You were gone a week, maybe?
Yeah, yeah,
Does that sound about right?
yeah, yep.
Okay. Well, listen, Arsenal have been on hold, Gary. So you went away, and usually a lot of things happen with Arsenal, but
Yep.
you were able to go away, and not a lot happened, Gary,
Nah,
with Arsenal.
yeah, yeah. No, I think a lot of people said not much is going to happen right until the Euros and Copa America kind of die down, just because players are they don't really want to be thinking about what's going to happen next, and so they're like done with this part of the off season before the Olympics starts up. So yeah, quiet is true, but at some point, players going to have to make a decision. Teams going to want to make decisions. So yeah, we'll see what happens. Yeah.
All right, and Stan has dropped in. How are you doing, Stan?
I'm doing very well, thank you very much.
All right, so, yep, not at all. England continuing their competition. Quite a lucky escape there last weekend. So the Arsenal boys, the Arsenal English boys are still there till at least another round, maybe two. They might get to the semi-final. They might get to the final. Who knows? Up against Granit Xhaka this weekend, England and Swiss, and Gareth Southgate's boys. So that's a whole other podcast in of itself. But yeah, listen, I've titled this one "Calafiori Dreaming." So are we dreaming about Calafiori? It looks pretty good right now, Stan, as we're looking. Well, maybe you don't get too excited about the tweets and X and all that stuff, but it's looking like the links to the Bologna defender are looking stronger and stronger.
Well, the first thing that I will disclose is that it's not a player that I know too much about until his name was mentioned, and now I've listened to what other people are saying about the player. But my only concern is that I've seen so many times in the past where and there is a talk about an Italian player moving outside of their league, only for teams to be mentioned. In this case, it's us and also Chelsea, to be used as a way to get a quicker deal done, so that they usually go to Juventus, and they never leave Italy. You know, Tonali only came to Newcastle because he was kind of pushed out. It wasn't like a deal where, oh yeah, I'm up for that. You know, they usually stay in Italy. So I'm not sure whether it's one of those ones, because I think somewhere between 40 to 50% of any transfer fee is going to go to Basel. So maybe from their side is that if they go, you know, if it's outside of Italy, they'll get a higher transfer fee, which means they get more of a share. But there is this thing about Juventus, isn't there? Didn't their manager go to Juventus? They lost their manager, went there, and so they have a thing where they've said that they don't want him to go to Juventus. But is that really just all a ploy to get a bigger price? Who knows? I'm always a bit wary when it's about, you know, Italian players moving outside of the league. But as for the player himself, from what I've been listening to, it sounds like someone who fits right into the Mikel Arteta playbook. You know, a centre back that can play as a fullback equally as good, which seems very much in the mould of a lot of the defenders that they have at Man City. Fit the same mould, right? They can play in defence or they can play as a fullback, and it gives them a lot of license to come into the midfield, you know, come in a little bit where they feel more comfortable. So it sounds like a Mikel Arteta player. And just before I came on, funny enough, I was checking on YouTube while I was eating a sandwich, and they were talking about it on Sky. So there is a lot of talk about this, but there was a lot of talk about Dusan Vlahovic as well.
Yeah.
Who never left the league. He stayed within Italy.
Listen, I'm not going to blame you for striking a cautious note, because we've been down Gary, we've been down this road before with Vlahovic. The lure of Juve within Italy is always strong, and
Locatelli, that was another one. Remember Locatelli?
Locatelli, yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to set it. I'm setting it at 85%. I'm always quite optimistic about these things. Gary, what's your thoughts on that?
No, and it sounds. I mean, yes, I think the initial stories about it seemed a little bit. Let's wait and see. But I think the fact that, like you said, Juve's manager is the former manager in Bologna. Would they want to help out their former manager? I think that it sounds like actually a legit reason why they wouldn't want a deal. And
that's happened a lot,
every
doesn't
day-
it, Gary? Doesn't it, Gary? Where a manager moves to a club and he goes back to his former club and takes,
Yeah.
players.
A few
that used
trusted
to- it
players.
does happen, doesn't it? Anthony,
Oh, yeah.
for example, at Man United.
Yeah.
No, it sounds, and we're hearing more and more stories every day. So it's not like it's just going away. Even some, I think some of the bigger names are Stark. We haven't heard from, I think it's Ornstein, most people wait for. But we've heard some, we've heard, like, I think I saw Tom Canton actually was like late to the party, but this Calafiori stuff looks real, and he doesn't usually comment either. So I think every day it sounds like it's legit
What about Romano? What's he saying?
transfer.
He's banging the drum a little bit louder, Stan. Romano is. Yeah.
So it's not quite
It sounds, but think about it. It's
Yeah.
we got Tomiyasu from Bologna, right? Nobody heard of him, right? So I think,
Oh yeah, we've got a relationship with the club. Then we have a relationship.
yeah. So I think that's a plus for us. But also, like you said, he fits the mold of what we want. I mean, and sounds like the price is right for us as well. So it sounds like every day it seems like it's getting closer and closer, right?
Yeah.
Like they're saying, like it sounds like he's actually happy to come. They're actually in the part where they start talking with Bologna about.
They want something like 55 million euros, I think, is what they want.
Yeah.
And I saw something that we'd made an offer of 49. I don't know. Again, I don't know if we're that far down the road where we've made a physical offer, but
yeah. No, I saw something saying a similar thing. 47, 50 is what they want, and then it might be a little bit more just because of the way that the financing works out. But yeah, I mean, and for those who follow Italian football, they know the player. So it's a player that you would have had to have been scouting for a bit of time, not just in the Euros where he's playing well, always played well. So, and
they're saying that he was one of the highlights of that league last season, apparently. And he's a defender, right? And he was one of the standout players, apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I checked on their finish as well. They finished in 6th place, which was quite a high finish for them, probably. And you see the YouTube compilations of him holding Osimhen in his pocket for a game. So you never know. And as Gary said, we have that previous relationship with Bologna of taking Tomiyasu a couple of seasons back, and I would think Jorginho, one of our own within the Italian squad, has been talking to him whilst on international duty.
Isn't he a captain or something like that for Italy?
Yeah.
So
yeah, one of the senior members within Arsenal and within the Italian team as well. So, Fabrizio Romano always reiterates everything that we already know, everything that has already been said, but he does recap it and reiterate it constantly. And like I say, the drum is growing louder and louder for Calafiori. We'll stay on Calafiori a little bit because...
Can I just ask you guys then, so, what little we know about this guy and what we're hearing, the kind of fee that they're talking about, do you think that this is a good addition? Are you glad that we're looking in this area? Are you like, hang on a minute, I thought we should be looking somewhere else first? What do you guys think of this whole link as an addition to the squad?
Well, just if you looked at Arteta and how he handles his business, for him it's easy to pick up defensive support. This seems to be like where he spends a lot of his days, right? we've been asking for a striker for how many years since he's been here, right? We haven't gotten
No,
one yet,
defender.
right? Right, but we've replaced our goalkeeper how many times now, right? Luckily we've got 2 center backs that aren't going to get replaced. We know our left back.
Yeah.
Either they're not available because of injuries, or they're not available because they scare Arteta. You know. So I kind of feel like if he he is good on the left side, so he could be our starting left back, right? I heard people say that might be an issue for Timber, but I think Timber adds they all add that. Well, they can play center back, they can play full back, and in the case of Calafiori,
competition for
also
places
play in the midfield to some degree. So yeah, we
really?
need.
Can he play midfield?
You can play left. I guess left back. Sorry, left back.
Left center back.
Left
he
mid.
Could play.
He can play. So
mega legs.
Yeah.
He could play in a 3 and he could play in a 4, right, Gary?
Yeah.
So he could be that left back. He could be that left center back, which we get Tony quite excited about that. We went.
He's played left midfield, so whatever that. I don't know what that is. If that's a 6 or an 8 or whatever. But yeah.
We'll get into the comments, guys, in a second. But Gary, let's linger on what Stan said. Posed the question, and of course, you said there will be riots if we replace Gabriel Megalegs and Saliba. There will be riots at Arsenal.
Yeah.
Similar to the European.
You know what? This is the thing. Nobody wants us to get backups because they won't play. Nobody wants us to get better because we might push somebody else to the bench. And it's like, guess what? If that's the case, Arteta doesn't care because you think about if his model was similar for the goalkeepers like everywhere else on the pitch, we'd be so much better. Because right now, he went out got out another goalkeeper, right? I think what is that? His 5th or 6th goalkeeper he's brought into the club, right? Right.
Lost count.
Right. That's where we're at right now. So if he does that and if worst case scenario we can't sell Ramsdale, well, having Ramsdale as a backup isn't that bad, right? But everywhere else in the pitch we don't do that except for on the left wing, right? Trossard comes in, and right now Trossard and Martinelli are essentially fighting for that spot. But otherwise, everywhere else on the pitch, there is no competition. We don't know what Timber is right now, right? Some people say he's been a right back, so that would mean Ben White and him would fight for that position, which is fine, right?
I think he's a player that we're going to see playing a number of positions during the season. He'll play at centre back, right back, and left back. I think someone like Timber.
Yeah, so he'll be like our Trossard.
I don't know if a player can do
anywhere.
That. Can he be
he's like a Trossard. He'll play anywhere on that back line. Like Trossard can play anywhere on that front line, right? And depending on the depth, he gets stuck someplace. But we need to be able to rotate anyways.
Yeah.
Right. We need to be
and
able
that's
to rotate.
The key.
Players can play 38 games, but then when their form dips and you're like, when their form dips before they play, like we see it after the fact. They must see that in practice and from previous games and stuff. See the build up and the dip in form for these players. They should be able to start rotating plays in and out of the lineup because we have to go deep in everything. We don't know where the trophy's coming from, right? But we need a trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
We need to be playing in the finals. These players need to be playing in a game that at the end of it, guess what? A trophy is presented to the winner, and we need to win one of these things. We've got 4 chances. So
for the fans as well. Yeah,
I think if this is happening, this Calafiori deal is happening, then I definitely think someone is going out. And for me, it's probably going to be one of either Zinchenko first, because there's been a lot of talk about him going to Bayern Munich, and I think you can see that he has fallen down the pecking order. When you're being left out of Champions League games outside of the group and someone else is getting in ahead of you, I think that shows you where in the pecking order. And if it's not going to be Zinchenko, maybe at a push Kivior, because he seems to have a lot of links back to Italy as well.
Yeah, look,
I think one of those two is going to be leaving.
Listen, and you mentioned this about Calafiori. Where is he going to fit in? And let's leave Saliba and Gabriel Magalhaes aside because they're the premium center backs. these players we're going to talk about now would be cover in the defensive areas or fullback areas. It would be, in my reckoning, it goes Tomiyasu would be next on the team sheet, then Ben White, and then probably Timber and Calafiori after that.
I'd say Calafiori is starting left back.
Yeah, he's
starting left back.
I think we have 4 legitimate players that can all start fullback for us if we were bringing Calafiori, and that's what we want. All right, that's what we want. So
Calafiori seems the more experienced, doesn't he? Seems the more. He's not being asked to change and play in this position. I think he'll be good there. He's someone that has already been doing that. You know.
Yeah. Also,
I guess what can we seriously depend on our our center backs playing? What is it? 76 out of the 78 games. Should that be a plan? That's not really a good plan.
No.
I mean, and
we have to move.
They would have played all of the minutes if Arteta, as you said at the beginning of this last season, if Gabriel head wasn't turned, he probably would have played all the minutes available, right? And that would have mean 2 center backs playing every minute of every match. So that can't be a good plan because they need to be able to play deep in everything that we play. Yeah. You know, when it comes down to it, like we want a fresh center back pairing going into an Aston Villa game, right? like you know, we didn't. I don't think we had that. We were pretty much hanging on with a thread with the games that we had going on in that week. So I kind of feel like, you know what, we want players at that level that, you know, we go, well, guess what, will he compete? He can, you know, and if he's better,
as well,
we'll take it.
Also, as well, you could say, you know, if you think Gabriel Magalhaes is good now, how better would he be when he's got someone like Calafiori biting up his arse, trying to get into the team? Things like that as well. It raises other players as well. But I do think that if we do get this guy, he's not a backup. He's a starter at left back for me.
Yep, yeah, that's what we want. We want starters all over, right?
And can cover at centre back if needed, right?
He plays mostly as a centre back, so you know, like Timber, who played mostly as a center back, they can play the full back style that we have as well. You know, we've seen that with Ben White, right? So I think
it's same as City, isn't it? Okay.
Yeah, they all can play anywhere on that back line. So I kind of feel like that would be the final. That hopefully would be we're done, right?
In defense now.
We're
defense
done with the defense. We might need a backup goalkeeper.
I wonder if Mikel is cook. You know, you bring a new player in, they bring new skill sets, and Calafiori looks like he's very comfortable on the ball, can get into midfield. We saw him engineer that equalizer for the Croatia game.
It's like you know that meme of the guy walking down the street with his girlfriend, and then he's looking behind, and it's another woman. That's like Arteta walking hand in hand up the high street with like Isak, but another defender. It's like another defender. It's like, ooh, defender.
Okay. BX, welcome BX and Canterbury Gunner. Signing an Italian has a difficulty rating of 8.5. I tend to agree with that. Lawrence has dodged us tonight. Evening, lads. Sorry, can't make it. Someone called Messi playing in 15 minutes. And choice of watching him over Tony and his crayons is not.
You know what? He's lying. He's a liar. He spends the whole show talking about these crayons. And,
he loves it.
Now all of a sudden, Messi's his love of his life.
He's left Tony for Messi.
That guy's lying to himself.
It's a very messy love triangle. There you go.
It is.
Ray waited for this title for 5 years. Calafiori Dreaming. Yeah. Sometimes the name makes the title. You know what I mean? Came to me on a vision, ready. Came to me on a vision. Yeah. I know zero about the player other than the Euros on how Bologna performed. And look, we're not going to. I'm in the same boat as you, BX, Jose. Same. But I also have it. Also have it in the title there. Edu and Arteta have our trust, and I think I say our as in the most of the fan base. I think that's fair to say. You know, there is those 10% holdout fans who are waiting for things to go
For me, there's
I
other.
was looking
there's
at
other fans.
the FP Ref stats, and he is he's in the 99 percentile for assists as a center back.
Yeah.
You know, he's in the 90 plus percentile for
Cultured.
successful take-ons, right? 90
Yeah.
percentile plus, 96 percentile for interceptions, right? So he's got, I think, some of the skills that we look for, especially if he were to play outside as a fullback. So, hello there, Des. Everybody in the chat, the Big Gunner, Des, Tiger, and Gooner.
There you go.
Joe, yes.
And there's an old face in the old chat there. Des, right, Des. Been a while.
Also, Juve have no money at this moment for big transfers. Yeah, good to see you, Des in the chat box there. Locatelli, Spurs have come up with a new bra, loads of sport, but no cups.
No substance there, nothing to hold on to, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, what a silicone, right? The Douglas Luiz transfer sounds fishy.
Yeah, I find it weird that they don't want more money, right?
Well, he went wherever Mrs. Louise wanted to go. You know,
that might be telling as well. Yes, I thought they had broken up, so I'm all confused with the love with that loving relationship. So
Calafiori seems like a left-sided center back as cover for Gabriel.
yeah.
And look, we're gonna say first teamers. We're gonna say this guy should start, but I think what we really are saying that there should be a lot of rotation this season.
Squad game now, isn't it?
Huh?
The squad game. It's not just
game.
about 11 anymore. It's
Expecting Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba to go 38 games in the league, and
not the way that we need to play.
15.
Right. We need they've played at the top that they can for 38 games, but we need them to play really and truly at the top of their game for maybe 25 to 30 games. You know what I mean? So we have some rotation there. So
this is
definitely
good. Gary. We're going to need that, and we want to see it even in the lower tier league games. If we're playing Ipswich Town at home or Southampton at home, do you need Saliba? Do you need Gabriel? Especially the first 3-4 months of the season. This could have some substance here. Des said Jorginho has recommended him apparently. So maybe Arteta trusts Jorginho as well because he knows.
Hopefully they trust the scouting as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
To some degree.
I'm sure there's been a lot of tick the boxes, and then they talked to Jorginho, and he might have reaffirmed a lot of the things that they were already feeling about the kid. And Calafiori is 22-year-old, so I think he's at a perfect age where he can come to a bigger club and not expect to play every game. I think that's going to be important when you're
don't get many Italians there. I mean, people from that league, I say, leaving. I mean, we tried it, didn't we, with what's his name, Torreira, and he wanted to go back, didn't he?
Yeah,
he came from the Italian league, Torreira?
Torino? Yeah, I think we got him from the Italian league. Yeah, Sampdoria. We got him from Sampdoria. Times have surely changed with young Italian talent leaving Italy. Tonali, Calafiori. So maybe it's getting a little bit better. Maybe the players are able to adapt. Romano is.
I find it weird. It's like they want to go to Juve and play, but like Juve's form is dropped, right? Like they're not the Juve that's
not the
competing and going deep in Champions League and stuff like that.
He looks good, Cadillac.
So so I kind of feel like they're not the same.
Are we future-proofing with Calafiori? So this is ensuring a player for 3, 4, 5 seasons, and would you be disappointed, Gary, if Kivior was leaving as a result of this incoming?
No.
Okay.
No.
Even though it's it's still the same numbers.
As long as it's an upgrade, then I'm cool.
It is up. It probably will be upgraded.
If it's an upgrade, then I'm cool.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like an upgrade, but think about it. We are so solid on the back line as it is right now, and we're still trying to reload. We can't find anybody to play right wing for us right now outside of Saka. And the last place we're looking is a right wing. Anybody can play in the right wing for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, do we have a striker? No, we have a player that plays in a center forward role, but we don't have a striker, right?
I'm sure there's other things though, that there's
So,
other irons in the fire as well.
Irons, of course. Yeah. BX said he's being brought in case Timber goes out or Tomiyasu or Zinchenko.
Yeah, so
I hope Timber and Tomiyasu are staying in Zinchenko, right?
They just re-signed Tomiyasu, so I'll be surprised they re-sign him.
Maybe it means injury.
Zinchenko. Like availability is one thing, but
for
when he
Timber,
plays, it's fine.
Yeah.
We don't know if that's a regular occurrence because he hasn't. I don't think he came in with a bad injury record, so we'll find out if it's be a long-term thing.
Okay, let's say it's Kivior or Zinchenko leaving. Do you feel then, both of you feel we have enough at the back? If Calafiori comes in, do we have enough at the back with Tomiyasu, White, Timber, either Kivior or Zinchenko, and Calafiori, along with
Ben White?
Ben White.
I think we're fine with all the players that we have if we lose Kiri or Zinchenko.
So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 defenders.
Yeah, that's more than enough, right?
Decent. Okay. We have top shelf cover, says.
In worst case scenario, we know Saka can play left back, right?
Saka. Emergency break glass. Gareth Southgate broke the glass.
You know what? I feel like sometimes he needs to play left back just because he needs to because if they're not going to
beginnings.
They won't force. They're forcing him to play even when he's not having a good day there. Once in a while, you push him back and let him see the game from a different angle, and I think that would be a plus for him. I think
it worked. It worked in the end. Maybe it wasn't just because of Saka, but it worked in the end, right, Gary?
Yeah, no, he played well there, and that's why they put him there. I think a football is a footballer, right? You just put him on the pitch. Tell them, here, you're playing here, and they do what they got to do, right? I think he's one of those type of players. It doesn't matter where you put him on the pitch; just he'll play.
I've always said you got to take your hat off to whoever at Tottenham had the foresight to move Gareth Bale from left back to left forward. I mean, that was just genius.
Yeah. And then they got enough return for it. They got 100 million. They could buy 7 useless players for that one good player.
Yeah, there is that.
That's what they did, right?
You kind of get pigeonholed, and then you play it well, but then you have to look at the skill sets of each one of your players to figure out if they're actually because the goal of a coach is what? To get 110% out of every player. But if you're only getting 80% out of them at a particular role, but you can get 100 somewhere else on the pitch, right? That's your goal to figure that out, and the good managers find that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, something else I
Tiger
heard.
and Gunnar, welcome. The A team are on. That's sweet, I think.
I heard in the last 24 hours, and I can't remember what it was I was listening to, but in the transfer roundup, talking about Arsenal, they also went on to say that there is a German player in the German team that Arsenal are really big on, and a deal could be imminent or whatever, but they've not released the name. Yeah. But I think I know who it is anyway. I think it's Kimmich.
I was going to say Kimmich.
There's been talk about Kimmich, weren't there? A few weeks ago, there was a lot of talk about
Somebody mentioned Leroy Sané in the chat box here.
Ooh,
but I feel like it might be Kimmich stepping into our midfield player. Pair Kimmich with Declan Rice and Odegaard in midfield. That's not a bad midfield at all. BX said
Sané is a good shout.
Sané is a good shout.
About maybe availability, if a deal could work, I think Sané is a good shout. History between the coach and the player,
Yeah. Trossard's no winger, more of a false 9 attacking midfielder. Trossard has a unique set of skills that can be
you make him sound like Liam Neeson.
Yeah, he might not be a winger, but he played on that. He played out wide on that side, on the left side, right? So whether or not he spent all his time in a winger role, but he kind of pushed when Arteta was happy to put Martinelli on the bench.
Not sure about his legs as a winger.
Definitely doesn't have the pace to.
When you say winger, you think. When you say winger, you think an attacking Ryan Giggs, Overmars type of player. And he's not that kind of player.
Well, think about it. We talk about our left backs and our right backs, right? But they're not, right? They're not, right? And especially Zinchenko.
Yeah.
Zinchenko's in the mode of what he wants supposedly, right? And we know he's not a left back, so it's just positions on a pitch, whether it's roles. The roles are not the same.
You could play Zini in midfield. That's never going to happen, Des. We haven't seen it.
Which doesn't make any sense. So
Great idea.
To me, it's that whole same thing of like play him in a position where he can succeed. You just did that to Xhaka, right? You just did Xhaka. You said, guess what? You kept pushing him further back, and like you thought he can actually play left back at one point, right? And we saw how that went, right? Moved him up the pitch, moved him further up the pitch, and guess what? He flourished and did really well there, right? So it's like, dude, you just went through this. Zinchenko isn't the guy on the left back, but you know what? If he can't play left back, can he really get into even more dangerous areas of the pitch, like midfield, and help us there? Like, tell me again what he does that's so good when he's having his best game as an Arsenal player. Do you guys remember it? Like when he played? Yeah.
Zinchenko.
What was the best game that what's the best game he played as a left back? Do you remember it?
It was probably nearer the beginning. I think it was probably near the beginning of his tenure. He had a few,
Yeah, last season.
Is that with Partey in front of him, kind of thing, or?
Probably. I seem to remember a lot of people talking him up around the beginning of near his tenure.
Mm. Like we don't remember those games, and we need them now, right? We need those games now because they're even more important now, and we're not seeing it even. You're not even seeing like a good game for him. You're like, yeah, he played good.
I think Zinchenko can even see himself that the writing's on the wall, and I think from what I can see, he's open to a move away. This Bayern Munich thing, I hope that comes off, right?
Yeah. We'll see. Hopefully things warm up pretty soon. The window starts mechanizing pretty soon with the Euros winding down. What do we know of Timber and his recovery? Is the knee ACL healthy? He did play the last half of the last game, and all we have to do is take that he's going to have. I don't know anything, but I haven't heard anything, and so hope that he gets a good preseason behind him. You know what I mean?
He's had plenty of rest. He was almost playing at the end of last season. He played a behind the closed doors or a reserve game, and now he's gone into a pre-season. He's probably over there in Marbella doing the extra training and all that. I think he's good to go, isn't he?
Yeah. Calafiori is like a new signing. Lands. Calafiori has played a lot of left back.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
Let's take a look at that because I
don't think. While you're looking that up about how many times he's played at left back, because he's had a lot of moves, Gary. He's had a few clubs already for someone so young, right? He was at Roma.
Yeah. Played at Basel,
and then he went on loan to Basel, and then was he on loan somewhere? He was at Basel. I think he was on loan somewhere else, and now he's at where is he now? Bologna. Sorry, he's moved around quite a bit for someone so young.
Yeah.
22 years old. I think he's had some injury problems as well. I heard someone talking about that. But he does have a lot of people that know a lot more about the Italian league than me, and people that seem to watch that league. They do talk him up. They are like, wow, Calafiori.
Yeah. He's played about a handful of games at left back. Most of his games have been.
What about some of the other teams? Because I think he was at Roma, wasn't he?
Yeah, maybe let's see what he did in the previous season here.
Shame that Lawrence chose watching Messi over having an Arsenal chat. Wrong priorities, indeed, Lawrence. Indeed.
Yeah.
Shame. I don't think that the Calafiori deal happens if someone's not going out. I think it's dependent on a space.
Okay, so we're gonna boost our squad numbers. Well, I suppose it's going to be one out, one in. Is that what you think, Stan?
Yeah.
If we get 3 or 4 in, then 3 or 4 leave.
In that position I'm talking about, with this specifically with this Calafiori deal, I think Zinchenko goes out and then he comes in.
Juve, much like Man United, used to have a stranglehold on the talent in the past. How times have changed. LOL. And it's one of those old darlings of football. Players want to play for Juventus. They want to play for Barcelona. Des, unfortunately, his mom passed away. So commiserations.
Yeah.
What happened?
Condolences.
What was that? Sorry, I didn't miss that.
Des's mom passed away. Just needed time.
Condolences, Des, man. Condolences.
Yeah,
sorry to hear.
That's tough. You know.
Yeah.
When your mom passes on, so rest in peace. Des's mom, and commiserations, condolences. Timber, Calafiori, Kivior, Gabriel is a solid left side. Timber, Calafiori, yeah. We're starting
sounds like supercalifragilistic.
Okay, are you going to charter a plane for us, Lawrence? Ray, Stan, Gary, any of you fancy joining me in LA to watch Arsenal play Bournemouth?
How much are the tickets are? 300.
Yeah, well, it's all inclusive Lawrence package, right?
Yeah.
So Lawrence is going to cover all of that. So don't worry about
it. This feels like Ryan Reynolds taking the whole Wrexham team to the West Coast.
White
you know
Caps.
what I mean?
Whitecaps. They came to play the Whitecaps. I think they've either just done it or it's happening in the next week or some shit like that.
Italian teams don't have the financial strength of the past. Gary, were you looking up some stats?
Yeah, no, I looked at he played when he played it for he played Basel and he played also in Serie A in the same season. So it looks like he might have but he played 17 games as a left back and 12 as a center back. So even when he was playing left back, he still played center back for a percentage, a decent percentage as well. But so he can play anywhere in that left side for sure. So.
Yeah,
Kivior is a solid defender. No surprise other top clubs want him. So yeah, maybe Kivior is going to go to Juventus because that's the rumor that we've been hearing. And
was it Juventus?
Yeah, it was Juventus.
I thought it was one of the Milans.
They can afford Curior. They can't really afford Calafiori. So,
BX said this defense is going to win us a trophy. Listen. I always like to build a house on a solid foundation. Huh?
You showing up fast. That'd be our defense, isn't it?
Des, that's not a good joke. Not a good joke.
It was proven first couple of games last season.
No, it was not proven because we never saw him again after that, so it's not a good sign.
Give me Leroy. That's what BX was saying. Give me Leroy Sané. Could be Sané or Kimmich. Sané is in his last year.
Out of those two, do you have a preference?
I would take Kimmich.
Really?
I know Sané played well against us in those two legs. But I just feel like he's seen better. His best days are behind him, I believe.
How old is Sané now?
Huh?
How old is Leroy Sané?
It has to be 28, 29.
Yeah?
Without knowing, he has to be 28, 29. I'd be happy with the Italian on that.
He's 28 right now, so yeah.
Xhaka is now an invincible. Xhaka finally.
We need some youngsters for sure.
And this team, Gary, is 21, 22, 23 years old. You know? Okay, we have a few out there. Trossard, Jorginho.
Kimmich is 29.
Yeah, we need some experience though. Like Gio,
Kimmich is 29.
Kimmich would be the same thing, right? He would
give us 30 in February.
Yeah.
Right, John. Probably the Euros is not coming home if it's England. If it's Germany,
trying to figure out a way. You know, here's the thing I could see happening. Like Saka's running down the pitch, and Southgate trips as he's walking and knocks him over, and it could have been like the game scoring goal, but because he fell,
Southgate is running down the line with him.
He's running down the line and trips and takes him out. You know,
because Saka has to have chalk on his boots. You know what I mean? Gary, in stunning high definition, haven't seen this man in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say tonight, which is good. Argentina versus Ecuador is getting feisty. Well,
are you seeing? You're going to see
South American.
I should probably put that on my phone here.
Now, looking at their ages, I think I'd rather take a 29-year-old Kimmich than a 28-year-old Sane.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I think Kimmich is
I think
still can do what he has to do.
is Kimmich going to be like the Thiago Alcantara? Is that?
Yeah, but now you try. Which one are you talking? Like
Kimmich can play defense as well, can't he?
Yeah.
The one that Liverpool were going to take and only got about a year out of him.
Doesn't he play as a right or a left back as well as midfield? He plays as a fullback.
Well, mainly a midfielder. Yeah.
But in Bayern, he's been playing as a fullback. He's been playing as a fullback for Bayern.
Yeah, he played right back most of his games last season. He can play defensive mid and center mid if he needs to.
Oh.
But
we have an appearance.
Oh, what is going on here? Did we peer pressure you into this? What's going on?
All right, Lawrence.
Just drop your volume on.
I thought you want to hear about crayons and Tony.
Just drop the volume on while you're watching there, Lawrence.
Yeah. Sorry, just muted the sound.
Yeah, thank you.
YouTube
are weird about that.
I'm not going to stay on for long because Ecuador are ripping Argentina a new one. It's a really good game. This.
I've just got one question for you. Do you have a box of crayons with you as well?
No, I've got 3 tickets for Bournemouth. For the Bournemouth game out here.
Have you got 3 tickets for flights?
No, you've got to make your own flight.
Make your own way. How did you get? Were you given the 3 tickets, or what happened?
No, I spoke to somebody at Ticketmaster. They told me the tickets go on sale next week. So I asked them how much what they were. They couldn't give me a price as of yet. But I'll tell you what, I hope it's not $300 like the Man United game.
You bought 4 tickets without knowing the price.
Well, I haven't bought them, though. I've just inquired about them.
Okay.
Because
sounds like Del Boy a little bit.
I thought Arsenal Fan Circle could do a podcast outside the stadium,
Yeah. We're going to meet up with Arsenal.
Yeah, because we can't afford to go inside the stadium.
This is Arsenal Fan Circle from outside the stadium.
Mm-hmm. I think Fabio can be good for covering.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, Lawrence. Stick around.
All right, I'll see you Sunday, all right?
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I'll see
you.
Would we take Rashford? Probably not. Would be my Rashford. No, probably not.
Don't want that.
If it was a very, very cheap package, we could probably use him, but no. Man United are going to have one of the best strikers in the world as their striker next season. They're re-signing Henry's old arch nemesis in Van Nistelrooy. Yeah, he's going to be a coach, right?
Yeah.
Rashford is a tough one. On one hand, I'd take him, but on the other hand, he's a liability. Indeed.
BX. You know what? The same thing could have been said about Havertz. So it's probably not happening. One, because of the transfer fee and how much he's getting paid a week. So it's probably easy no to that one, anyways, right?
Yeah. I'd go after Rafinha if available. Copa America semifinal in Charlotte is 175.
That's not bad for a semifinals.
Not bad. Lawrence got you guys seats on the stadium roof in the Arsenal versus.
Yeah, you gotta climb up a rope on the side.
Is that the first game in our preseason then? Bournemouth over there.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, Lawrence said it was before the Man United game, and then Philadelphia. So there's probably 3 games in the US. So yeah, that's Calafiori. I think he's coming to be I think there's going to be rotation. There's going to be a lot of rotation. He's coming to be part of that left-sided setup. Maybe give Gabriel Magalhaes some respite in terms of games as well. We can't play the Fab Two. We can't play those two every game of the season. So as both you, Stan, and Gary have mentioned, it's a perfect Mikel Arteta signing. He's comfortable on the ball, moving forward, can step into midfield, and in the vital moments against Croatia, was able to provide a telling pass out to the left wing for that player to slot it into the top corner. And I could see him doing something similar. Okay, I know it was desperate stakes at the end of the game there, but that's maybe a good way to evaluate the player. When everyone else was losing their head, Gary, he was quite calm. He stepped into midfield, played a 1-2, and before he got challenged, he let the ball away to the left winger.
Yeah, no, that counts as well. I mean, you look at the rest of the game, but then like you said, we need to have those types of plays being made, and we're not, right? That's one where either the player isn't used to it or not, but we definitely need to have that. And so when you can bring somebody in who's doing that now, you're taking it. So yeah.
Why are we not going for Tony? The reason, I believe, is his character. Probably they're taking a look at his character. Maybe his ability dropped off as well. Maybe he came back from the ban and had that impetus to play 3 or 4 games, looked pretty good for them, for Brentford in those 3 or 4 games, but then sort of died away.
Maybe we just want a higher caliber of striker.
Yep. Fair enough, indeed. Too old, 30 years old. Any final words, Stan? Calafiori, Stan? Because Gary and I were just talking about it.
No, I'd say that I'm open to it. If it's going to, it sounds like it's an upgrade on a couple of players that we may already have. Looking at Zinchenko, do I think it's going to happen? No idea. As I said at the very beginning, I'm very wary about these Italian deals when they use English clubs as leverage. It's happened so many times, and they stay within their country and go somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So as you say though, if this is what Mikel and Edu want to do, they've kind of earned my trust. So fine.
Yeah, and we've looked over the squad in past episodes as well, and okay, there's been a healthy number of misfires in the likes of Cedric early doors, particularly the first 2 years under Mikel Arteta. We had some duds come in, right? Willian, we had Tavares, and there's news of Tavares and Lokonga maybe moving on as well. And this is the kind of work that Edu has to do this summer as well. But for a defender, 22 years old, 50 million euros, and we'll be on about 60 or 70,000 a week. Those are the kind of numbers that I know Tony, talking about the financial stuff, will be happy to get behind. 60 to 70 grand a week.
And that's like 5 times what he's making now. So think about that,
Right.
So I'm just looking on the internet as we speak, right? And I'm looking at one headline. It literally says Calafiori signs. When you read it, it says Arsenal are pushing. It's like, well, he hasn't signed then, has he? That's your headline that he's signed. He hasn't signed.
The only thing I will say is the people that I trust, that I follow on Twitter, are saying the right things. They're not coming out with it, but there's little signs here and there that we're heading in the right direction.
I also read something today that we'd signed a striker from Barcelona. He's 29 years old. I can't remember what his name was. I was like, really? Sounded like he would be like a backup striker.
Not Ferran Torres.
No, it was a name that I'd never heard before.
Is it Mark Gui?
Mark A?
No, Gui. Guiu.
Oh, Guiu. Okay.
Maybe it was a woman. Because they do that.
might-
It's back signings, and then when
I
you
don't wanna
read it,
get
they're
the-
talking
but
about
he's
the women's team, but not
that
the men's
player's
team.
18. So if it's that player, he's 18. That's might be even academy level type stuff.
Oh, what's the name, Gary? What's the name? Does it
Mark
say? I heard
Mark
the name.
Gui.
I think that might be the one.
Okay. Yeah.
I just
He's,
remember reading something about that. We'd signed a striker from Barcelona or something like that. I was like, really? And it was
Right,
either
John.
an old player or a young player. It was either someone as an older backup or someone as a prospect. Like what Gary said.
Red
like,
John.
19.
So
Anyway.
Red John said, I might just turn Arteta out if he goes into the new season with no striker. Another season gone. Havertz was your striker.
It's not that Mark Gui because it looks like he might be going to Chelsea. So
Can't go 2 seasons without the same. Don't get me wrong. I think Havertz is doing great, but he's out of position as well. So the guys in the chat box are asking for a recognized striker. You know,
I think Mikel is as well. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been linked with Girockis and Sesko the way that we have been.
right?
There's definitely a hunt on for another forward. We're going to have to anyway, right? We sold Balogun.
I wonder if that forward is
selling.
still.
It looks like we're selling Eddie, so we're definitely getting another forward. The only question is it going to be a peak forward who comes in, someone like an Isak, as an example, or is it going to be someone who's still a little bit of, like a Sesko? And you saw what happened with Sesko in the Euros, right? And he had a golden chance, didn't he? And he fluffed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see that?
Definitely had their chance. Yeah. I think we need to be talking about taking a shot at a Champions League in the next 3 seasons, at least.
We need to do that next season.
Okay, but taking a real shot at it, Gary. And a real shot means having.
Yeah, it's got to be the next one because we don't know where it's going to come from.
Recognized striker is the real one, right? Sesko's garbage, says Red John. Thank God.
I think he's just young. You're expecting him to be a lead. You expect him to be a leading striker, and there's not that many of them to begin with.
Like they were talking about 56 million, weren't they? That's what they're talking about when it was talking.
That's kind of like we were talking about Højlund last season. Man United went and got Højlund
72
based off of potential.
72, wasn't it? That was 72 million. Wow.
Yeah, and they're paying for what they could potentially get from Højlund, and that's kind of the market out there. Teams are trying to buy a striker that could become the next Haaland, could become the next Mbappe.
42.5 for Jesus, I think. Something like that. It wasn't quite 45, was it?
Yeah. And
wow.
It's tough out there. Here's a striker.
That sounds like a good deal now, doesn't it, in hindsight?
Here's a striker, says Red, 42.5, yeah. Artem Dovbyk. You know him from FIFA? Or?
Yeah, he's been in the Euros. He's played for someone will tell me. I've heard his name coming up in the Euros. Who's he play for?
Why don't we buy him? Yeah.
Is it like Austria or something like that?
Yeah, Ukrainian striker.
Someone, Dovbyk. Yeah, Ukraine with Mudryk, I think maybe. I read that name.
That says no one's performing in the Euros. Who do we like in the Euros now? I think Spain and Germany have looked good. And
even Germany is suspect. Spain's been the most consistent to some degree. Yeah. Germany's just home. All right. Now that
which is big.
Going into the competition, I kind of fancy Germany and Portugal, but Portugal, the more that I've seen them, they look. I mean, that penalty shootout, 3 penalty saves, man. I mean, that's something, isn't it? Right. But I mean, the Cristiano Ronaldo show is a bit pathetic, isn't it? That's now something like an international level. He's 59th free kick, and out of those 59 chances, he's only put 1 away. There's no one that can say, "Listen, mate, it's time to change that tactic." Surely, I mean, he jumps really high. He's a good header of the ball. Shouldn't he be in the box now?
Salmon. Yeah.
Shouldn't he be in the box now trying to get, do you know what I mean, on the end of the free kick? He's had 60 goes at it. 59, 60 goes, he scored 1. I mean, But there's no one there that will say anything.
Should be a goal. Oh, it should have been a goal for Argentina. Should have been a goal. Enzo had a guy had Messi on the left all by himself and didn't pass him
Crying
the
when
ball,
he
I
missed
think.
that penalty.
Yeah. Ronaldo's
I
getting
understand
boring.
the emotion and stuff, but I mean, it's not his first rodeo.
He hits the defender standing in front of him. Terrible.
So I understand that, talking about strikers and midfielders, that's fun, right? But
Nico Williams,
we have to sort of stay a little bit in defense right now. And some people are over this conversation, but we kind of have to have it. It's news, right? David Raya is now a complete Arsenal player.
A complete. It should be a goal.
He's no longer on loan.
Ball across the line.
I'm happy about that.
They didn't buy the butcher.
Martinez.
I'm happy about that. He was the Golden Glove goalkeeper of last season. That's a good
accomplishment.
Saved 2 penalties in a shootout. I mean, I don't expect goalkeepers to save penalties. I just don't. To save 2, I was just like, fair play.
Where do we where do we stand on evaluating goalkeepers? Do we look at goalkeepers as their own position, or do we have to take into account the defense in front of them and evaluate the goalkeepers with that being said? You know what I mean? Like, when it's Ederson and it's Alisson, we don't tend to think about the defense in front of them.
I've said it before. How I evaluate a goalkeeper is, if you're in a team where you're constantly getting shots peppered at you and the goalkeeper's being worked from 1 minute to the end, they're going to pull out a lot of saves, and you can feel, oh, look at that, he's saved, blah blah blah. To me, that doesn't tell you he's a good goalkeeper. A good goalkeeper is one that doesn't have to do anything for ages. And it might get to like the 68th minute, and all of a sudden a shot comes in and he pulls off a save. That's a good goalkeeper. Do you know what I mean? Because he's still switched on. If you're constantly having shots coming to, you're on it all the time. You're ready. You're active. But if you've got nothing to do for ages, and then when it matters, that free kick or that shot comes in, and you can keep it out. That's how I evaluate a good goalkeeper.
And you know what? It's got to be that save. Remember, I say it all the time. Like you remember those goalkeepers if they make that save, right? The one you remember, right?
Yeah.
Like everybody remembers that.
Big save.
Everybody remembers that Turkey save at the end of the match, right? That's the save that you want to remember, because you see it all the time, as you said, with City and Liverpool, right? Their goalkeepers make that save, and that keeps the game 0-0, and then they go down and they score. So
yeah,
you remember
like Emi Martinez against France in the World Cup final.
Yeah.
You remember just a few seasons ago, I think the joint player of the season one season was Aubameyang and Leno. Remember? And they were the 2 players that had really helped us that season. But why was Leno that popular? Because we had such a crappy defence. Leno was being overworked, and he was pulling off a lot of saves, but he was constantly wired in because he couldn't get a minute's rest because the next shot was coming in.
Yeah.
Red John, he did.
I put a star on this one, Red John, so I'll come back to this question a little bit later. Yeah, that's how you evaluate the keeper, right? You evaluate him on the work that he does, irrespective of the defense, and I think that's fair as well. Just wanted to get that on the record here. Red John said, in my opinion, the defense in front of him is irrelevant. It'd be like saying Haaland's stats should be discounted because he has world-class players for teammates. Yeah.
And both teams had world-class players in front of them, so we don't have. They haven't been given the title yet, but we've got future world-class players.
So,
David Raya has shown me that when it comes to one-on-one, a situation which is a penalty, right? He saved 2 penalties in the shootout. That's as hard as it's going to get for a goalkeeper. It's not about the defense now. It's about you keeping that goal. And I never expect a goalkeeper to save a penalty. I don't.
Yeah.
If I'm the manager and the penalty scored, I don't blame the goalkeeper.
I mean, I'm struggling to think of it.
It's a bonus. For me,
that is a
it's
bonus. I
if
mean,
if you can save penalties, and he's shown that you can.
To be able to save a penalty is great.
That's a
We never
superpower.
had that. We haven't had that for Arsenal since probably David Seaman or Jens Lehmann. We didn't have a goalkeeper at Arsenal that could save a penalty. What I'm trying to evaluate.
Better check used to save penalties for Chelsea. He didn't bother for Arsenal.
No.
He didn't bother.
He throws cap at it. Yeah.
All right, Des.
Thanks, Des, for being with us once again. Commiserations for your loss, and we're thinking about you and your family.
All the best, Des. All the best, Des, mate.
Indeed. We'll catch up with you soon, hopefully, Des. Diogo Costa and Raya would be crazy levels as goalkeeper. Goalkeeper depth. All right. Something that I've never seen with David Raya is because it doesn't happen, Gary. It doesn't happen with our defense that a player is clean through one-on-one with David Raya. So we haven't really seen David Raya in a one-on-one situation.
Yeah. I mean, he was the Liverpool match. That before that, the other match where he one-on-one. But, most times, if it's those type of games, the attacker is going to score, in that type of situation that we had there. So, it doesn't happen often with our defense. So you got to have to make those timely saves. Yeah,
indeed. Welcome, Lonzo. Those are the saves that you remember. Are we ready to talk about David Raya in the bracket of an Alisson or an Ederson?
Let's move on from that topic.
They didn't win the Golden Glove, did they?
That's not even.
Did I miss something?
I mean, they're not the same season.
That's why I'm having this conversation.
And let this one go.
In the league right now,
they're not on the same level. No.
Right,
see, this is interesting, right?
It's not.
It is.
It's not worth the conversation.
He's the best keeper in the league right now.
They're world class.
They're one of them two.
He is
not.
All
right. Celia, hold on, both of you, hold on. I'm trying to point to.
They let more goals in.
Hold on.
They let more goals in.
Hold on a second.
Surely the currency of being a goalkeeper is keeping goals out.
No, it's not. They're not better than them. We don't have a world class goalkeeper.
For last season, he was.
Stop trying to make it. No, he wasn't. What? He wasn't a world class.
It's up to one of them to try and dethrone him. They've got to dethrone him this season.
He's I didn't do this in a sneaky way, but I wanted to frame this. I wanted to frame this discussion with the defense and the goalkeeper as a couple, versus a goalkeeper by itself. And we look at Raya as his stats are built upon by Gabriel Magalhaes and Saliba. But then we look at Alisson and Ederson by themselves, right?
So I'm going to say it one more time. Neither of them have the Golden Glove.
It's not even worth.
So for me, at this moment in time, he is the best keeper in the league.
Yeah, right, you're both right.
But we're talking about world-class goalkeepers. He's not one. I wish he was.
I said in the league. In the league right now,
we're talking about world-class goalkeepers, and he's not.
It's a very curious question. We might get more clues this coming season. So we can stick a pin in this one, Stan.
So being the best keeper in the Premier League, you're not world class.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's not what that means.
The Premier League was the best league in the world.
All right, Alonso, I'm going to get you in here, Alonso. All right, Alonso, where do you stand on this one? We're talking about goalkeepers. Alisson and Ederson are seen as players by themselves, at least the way I look at it, right? You look at Raya and you think of the group of work with the defense in front of them. And it's because we play a very structured way. Arteta has us set up really well at the back. We had the best.
If I was David Raya,
we had all the best stats.
I'd be going, what else do I need to do? What else do I need to do? If I was David Raya listening to this, I'd be like, what else do I need to do? I've let in the most. I've let in the least goals. But no, Gary's still got the other.
Ramsdale has 10 clean sheets. So the fact that our second goalkeeper has 10 clean sheets doesn't really carry the same weight as what you're talking about with Raya. All right? So that's why I'm saying this clean sheet.
Alonso is going to be.
Raya's got 10 clean sheets, so it's not. No.
Alonso,
Ramsdale's got 10 clean sheets. Yeah.
You have a gaffle in your hand, Alonso. You can make judgment on this.
Well, Raya saw off really slow, and to his credit, he came on very, very strong at the end of the season and towards the middle of the season, for that matter. It's what's in front of you, right? And I say this, I stand by this. What's stopping him from being world class, in my opinion, is that the fact that he doesn't have a great left back to cover for Megalash if Megalash covers another player. So to me, this is why Ederson and Alisson have been good for a long time. For a long time is because he has a proper right and left back, where the Arsenal don't have a proper left back right now. So to me, it seems like to me, it is because had it not been for Zinchenko, has had to play defense out of control, right? Whereas Saliba has Ben White to help him out. You see what I'm saying? So again, this leads to the beginning of the year where Raya was shaky at best, and he has Zinchenko, who's often off in La La Land, and you bring on Kiviar and Timber at the end of the season, even Tomiyasu, and you have a great back four, I guess. And so, at the end of the day, next year we have a proper, healthy Timber to help out, and you have your world-class goalkeeper at last to help out. Because again, has a proper back four.
So Tony, what news do you bring from Kiev?
I thought we just said you don't have to have world-class players in front of you to be a world-class goalkeeper. We're saying that we need to have that now.
Well, Liverpool have a shaky defense.
I'm safe in my Ukraine. Stan.
Yeah. David Raya is more compared to De Gea than Alisson, Ederson. And this is the thing. Maybe, as somebody said, Raya has to be seen as a top goalkeeper. Raya needs to start being looked at as a top keeper. Maybe we don't feel that way about it.
He played a game in the Euros, didn't he?
Yeah. This is interesting. It's just interesting stuff. With Belgium out, we should see Onana be announced in a week or so, I believe. Onana coming. Oh, Amadou Onana. Okay, the German won't be announced.
If you play for a country, are you world class?
Zinchenko plays for his country, so can we just move on?
This world class thing is.
Can we just move on from that one? All right.
Yeah.
Here we are. Plays for his country.
Zinchenko ain't bad. He's played in the wrong fucking position.
Yeah, he's horrible, Tony.
Raya still has to earn that golden glove.
Ray will confirm with me. Right before the World Cup, we both thought he was one of the players of the season so far.
Which
Correct?
one? Raya?
No, not this season. Last season with
Who?
when the Ukrainian first joined.
Zinchenko. I like
Nice name,
Zinchenko. I have to say I like
we were
Zinchenko.
me and Ray were sitting there. That Zinchenko was one of the players of the year so far.
He was good last season. He was. Let's remember. And somebody asked about I think it was this one, Stephen, right? Our defensive record is not because of the defense and the keeper. It's because of the entire 11. Arteta will not tolerate wingers or right wingers or left wingers who will not defend. From our press up front to our midfielder, backing them up, it's to our back five. It's a total team effort. So there is something to be said about that. The complete team working in unison to protect.
It also keeps their striker away from goal
and protects David Raya from peril. Right, Man City will give up chances. Liverpool will give up chances, and then you will see Ederson and Alisson make saves to keep the players, keep their team in the game.
Ray, you got Gabriel, you got Saliba. You don't have to keep spending hundreds of millions of dollars on your defense. It's just ridiculous.
We're about to drop another 50.
He's not. It's just
Well, we're
50.
getting another left back. Apparently, we need more.
Well, yeah, that was the whole first hour. So you can rewind and watch that one, the first hour that you missed. Calafiori. Is Arteta and some of the boys still? Yeah. So this is a good thing, right? Maybe we can move on. We can revisit the goalkeeper conversation later in the season. Maybe David Raya is not seen to that light because he doesn't get exposed to be able to make those saves. You know what I mean? So maybe think about this through the season with our goalkeeper compared to Ederson and Alisson. And by the way, Alisson makes mistakes as well. He makes some high-profile mistakes. Ederson has made some mistakes as well. Konrad Tonsky says, Alonso, Raya faced 20 fewer shots on goal than the other keeper. Raya faced just over 60 shots on goal, of which 26 found the net. So what we're saying is we're not giving up a lot of chances, but the percentages of the shots on goal are quite high. I think we're saying that, but we can revisit this one a little bit later. Tony looks like an extra from Police Academy 2, the Blue Oyster Bar, or Zed's gang member. Oh, wow. Yes, Tony?
Can't remember what that is.
Has Tony been bullied by the chat into a costume change already? He probably didn't like the Putin reference, to be fair.
It could be the fact that it's 97 degrees outside, and it's
so why were you wearing it in the first place? You were doing it for show.
What happens in the basement, Gary? What happens in the basement should stay in the basement.
Yeah, keep that. You know, some things we don't need to.
The basement's refrigerated, Gary. Not air conditioned.
For the bodies.
Refrigerated. There might be walk up freezers that you can just walk into.
Walk-in freezers. Okay. The boys are in Marbella now. Some of the team are in Marbella getting ready for the new season. Those who are not involved in the Copa and those who are not involved in the Euros. We've got Odegaard out there. We've got pictures of other players. Ben White has stopped his vacation or finished his vacation, his holiday, and now he's working in Marbella. So, you know, this is something where we've heard some sound bites about Mikel Arteta and the boys getting ready for next season.
Yeah, and
Alonso
Kedia's there,
right?
Timber's there, Nelson's there, Emil Smith-Rowe's there, Fabio Vieira's there. You know, players that at least
so like five of those
who,
7 that you just named, Gary, they shouldn't be Arsenal players anymore.
5? Where'd you get 5?
You mentioned 7 is what I'm going with.
Well, not Ben White, Timber, and Erdegaard aren't are Arsenal players, but in Kedia, Nelson, Emil Smith-Rowe, and Fabio Vieira, which is 4 players.
Yeah.
That if they were to leave,
is the Arsenal player.
Which I'm gonna play my safe card on Emil Smith-Rowe. Stan is gonna play his safe card on Teabag, and that's it, right?
Yeah.
You're saving. You're playing to save. Gary, if you could keep one of those 4, who are you going to keep?
I guess Emil Smith-Rowe, but I really don't. They all, like, for me, Emil Smith-Rowe, Nelson, and Kedia need to go. They've been here too long, and I don't feel like they're going to get much out of staying, except for maybe a big paycheck. Fabio Vieira hasn't been healthy, not available, just like Emil Smith-Rowe. Another reason why I think the league might be too much for him. Right?
He's too damn scrawny.
The winds of England are just too strong. Knocking him over. So.
Welcome, Noe.
Hey there, Noe.
Thanks for coming back, man.
I think it's Like we need.
You can hook a kite string and fly him around.
Come on, let's not be too hasty. We gave Shaka 7 seasons to come good, and even just like
that time's hopefully gone. Hopefully Hopefully, we're not doing
Well,
that
what
anymore.
I'm saying, can't we give the guy just a
No,
little bit longer?
no more of that. No more
We
time.
had Van Persie for many years as well
Yeah.
before he
And see how
came.
that worked out. What happened? See, at the end of the day, what happened to both Xhaka and Van Persie? What happened when they left? What do they do the next season?
They
All
did
right?
well.
So no, let them go.
They won the league.
Don't let them. Yeah, exactly. So let them
They won
go
the league.
before they.
One of them full of
Those
Thanks
farmers
for that,
and
Gary.
hoes.
Cheers.
Yeah, see, that's why I don't know. I want them gone.
That was
Before
the
they
kill
get to that-
shots, man.
So they get to that point where guess what? They walk for free and then they win a league, right? Walk for free, win a league. You know, that's
Alonso, who are you keeping? Emil Smith-Rowe, Nelson, and Kedia?
ESR because to me he has the most upside out of all of them. So I think he just has to stay healthy. That's his biggest problem. The talent's there.
Yes.
It's just a matter of his availability, and that's an issue. But I'd rather keep him than any of the other ones.
Yeah.
Zero is just too weak. He just can't get any playing time because he's always. I think he's more hurt than Marcus Rowe. I think when he contributes, he doesn't do enough for me at least.
Who?
And Kedia is just not good. He's just not. He doesn't have and Kedia, it just isn't motivated enough anymore. I think that paycheck really did him in.
Yeah.
So
the stats don't lie.
it's
The
just-
amount of appearances Eddie's had, the return isn't where what we need.
Yeah.
It's not good enough.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that, right?
Tony, who are you keeping? Who's your save card going to?
When you drive down one of those streets, right, you see several for sale signs.
you
If
gotta
you say
buy
Ainsley
one.
Maitland-Niles, not a problem.
Tony, you gotta buy one. You
eh.
can't be walking by all of them. There's 4
Nope.
houses. You gotta pick one.
They're all for
Ray
sale.
did not
living on
say Ainsley
Not
Maitland-Niles. That's
living
not
on
a
the
choice.
street, Tony. So you gotta buy one. So go on.
Contract
Jenkins is
pending,
not a choice.
Tony.
There's no Cole Jenkins in there, so that's not a choice.
They're all
Frankly. So
for
don't go
sale.
there.
You're cold,
Probably.
Tony. Just like the outfit you wore when you came on. You're stone
It's
cold.
what we have to be. We have to be
He's
ruthless.
Niles. No, very clinical, Tony, like you say.
Niles
Ruthless.
saved us
Oh,
because
for
we
fuck's
went
sake.
to a back three in the FA Cup.
Alonso,
We
what are you
lost.
doing?
No.
I don't
Why-
care if a bomber
that guy doesn't
scored
play
2
for us.
goals.
He doesn't play for us, Tony.
Alonso knows
He
that
doesn't play for us. Doesn't
you
play
got
for
some
us. in,
acupuncture needles there, Alonso. You know the pressure
Stands for
points.
one mentioning, not me.
Clinical.
You're bringing up but you continue on. Leave those. He don't play for
It was
Arsenal
me.
anymore.
Let's let first.
Talk about Arsenal players here.
Could we possibly sell Trossard in January if he's disgruntled?
But he,
Is he disgruntled? I love that word.
I
Disgruntled.
didn't hear that.
He never looks happy when he goes off the
I think
pitch.
I was disgruntled earlier today on the bus.
What player should look happy coming off the pitch? What player should look happy coming off the pitch?
Skipping. Skipping.
Yeah, but he
What
He's
player
like
should be happy coming off the
He's like a
pitch?
sickly
Tony?
Edwardian boy.
yeah, but when he comes off, he has that look to
Edwardian.
his face as
He is.
I
He's like
can
a sickly
score a
Edwardian boy.
goal. I
Please,
can
sir.
score a
Isn't
goal.
that what you want? Isn't that what you want?
Oh my god.
I want him still on the pitch. I don't want him.
Yeah, that's why he's
coming off.
pissed. And now you're getting upset with him for being pissed off that he got pulled. Make up your mind. Which one is it?
He finally got consistent games because Martinelli was hurt.
All right. So who would be the cover for Odegaard then?
We don't have it.
There ain't
You don't
none.
have it yet?
We ain't got none, have we?
Don't
That's
have
another
cover
topic,
for
yeah.
Odegaard. Don't have cover for Saka. Don't have cover for Saliba.
Okay.
I think initially
if you
T-Bag
ask
was the plan.
some
for
people,
Odegaard,
you
but that
would
hasn't
say-
worked out.
Yeah.
You would say that. You would
Some
say that.
people-
Tony, fall back a minute. You would say that
hold
Emil
on.
Smith-Rowe was another one that could have been. None of them have worked out. There is no cover for Odegaard, and that's a problem. You can do what
Is
you
that
can do.
possibly a player we could target in this window, or would it be one area? Maybe one area could be that player. BX said he's not starting for club or country. He could come back a bit negative. Who knows? I'm just brainstorming. And that was about Trossard. BX's comments.
He was what? He's like one of the only few players that scored double figures for us, right?
See, I would have
Yeah,
said that as well.
Second only to Saka.
I would have said
Imagine
that.
if you have a whole season, Gary. Imagine if it's not because Martinelli got hurt that he finally started playing regular minutes.
There's a lot of ifs in your statement there.
Same with Kai. Kai would have been still being shit on the left wing or on the left side of midfield.
Tony,
But no, Jesus got hurt, so he finally.
these things happen at
played.
every club, though, Tony. These things happen at every club. It's not just
but you don't play in the wrong fucking position.
accidents.
Right?
Don't just happen at Arsenal. There's accidents
they do.
everywhere. At every club, there's accidents.
Yeah, so KDB was not injured this year. You just decided to take half the season off. Is that what it was?
Arteta has had all these happy accidents.
KDB was
man
forced to the
management,
bench.
his coaching
Here,
has
take 6
not.
months off.
It's not proved one iota. He hasn't improved.
He has improved. Yes, he has. The
What's
points.
he better at, right?
The points. Getting more points, Tony.
Does he substitute players better? Does he manage?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Does he manage players where they don't get hurt as much? No.
What major injuries did we have last season?
Yeah, you had Timber, which was supposed to be your starting.
Well, we covered for him, Tony.
I think
Just won games.
I think that's a fair point, Timber. Maybe he could have been assessed at halftime.
According to Gary, we missed Partey terribly. Gary was always mentioning Partey on every show for some reason.
Yeah.
Even though he's never did anything for us, a minus about 10 games.
So when he played 24 games, we didn't like. He wasn't playing good then.
50. We threw 50 million euros out the window because we didn't give a player we bought.
We got I would argue that we have progressed to where we are now, and on that path that Partey was a key part of that. I would say, because Partey was a part of some of the seasons that elevated us from 8th place to 2nd for 2 seasons. So I would argue that we may have gone backwards if we didn't have a Partey who's able to figure things out in midfield for us. You know, Partey, we were able to get Partey playing in a fashion that we looked really, really good for large parts of seasons, not just one season or two.
Yeah,
but I would argue that we would not be where we are now.
I would argue 2.5 years ago we had the option to buy a player. We refused to pay 32
Why are we
million,
talking about what if?
But we're willing to pay 90 million for a player.
Yeah, but that's where we are. I think that with Partey in our side over the last 3-4 years, that we would not be where we are now without Thomas Partey in the side.
I don't care if you get a dozen games with him.
Yeah, I would say we underestimate what Partey did for us.
We
for
threw 50 million euros out the window. I think Stan agree.
Yeah, but without Partey, we wouldn't have had hardly anyone in midfield. We asked Partey to carry the can before Declan Rice came along.
You had fucking Granit Xhaka being the best midfielder last year.
We had Xhaka and we had Partey, yes. And without those two, we didn't have very much else in midfield.
And what did we have before with Xhaka? Nothing. Zilts. Nothing. He lost us enough points to keep us out of the Champions League 3 years
ago. No, it wasn't all his fault, Tony. He didn't score enough goals.
It was his fault.
It was a team
to direct errors.
Just the way we're saying David Raya and the defense have been very good. It's a team effort. we have to recognize Odegaard and
Okay,
press
Tony.
from
You
forward.
have to
Tony,
realize, right, that
Also, you have to
That year-
recognize we were bad in a lot of parts of the field as well. And
we're
Granit
about
Xhaka was a big part of it.
400
Yeah,
million on the
But
defense.
wasn't just
Oh,
Granit
Tony,
Xhaka. We had defense.
Tony-
We had defenders like Papa and Socrates and you know,
The Europeans fifth, right?
Hiding
The
in the
Aubameyang
bushes.
and Lacazette didn't score any goals for us, Tony. We needed them most.
Lacazette.
So,
Lacazette was
Lacazette
scoring
and
goals
Aubameyang
from
didn't.
us.
Aubameyang and Aubameyang didn't score any goals for us that year.
It's because Arteta
It's not
played
all
him in a
Zaka's
place
fault,
that
man.
Yeah.
he
No.
forced him into being in the middle. He forced him. He forced Aubameyang to be a striker, even though it
Forced him
showed
to be
all
a
the way
striker.
back to the back when he was with.
All right,
Do you know
Tony,
what-
we're going to move on.
He,
Can I move on?
he was with.
You know why I'm
He was
I'm
with
an audible?
Klopp, right? Klopp played Aubameyang on the left.
Aubameyang.
All the stats show Aubameyang on the left. Arsenal.
He doesn't
scores
even
more
play for
points.
us either. Why are we talking about these players that don't play for us?
We're moving on.
Because
We're
other
moving on.
people bring him up, Gary.
No,
Oh.
no, you stay on
You-
point though. Leave it
Oh.
alone then, Tony.
Odegaard is our
Let it
perfect.
go. Let it go like the song. Just let it go, Tony. Let it go.
Odegaard is our perfect number 8, but he's the one who leads the press, hence why he's up
Well, he's
further
not
in a
number 8, is it? It's a number 10. He wears a number 8.
Yeah, and look, last season
Or
I think
he's a right 8, in it? Right 8, left 8. They're both 10s. I don't know.
we didn't
you know,
see the
both
best
10s.
out of him though. We didn't see the best out of him last season because of Havertz, right? Hopefully that's figured out this season. Thomas
Well, we've
Partey is
never
one
had
of the most.
We got to
Yeah.
we got to where we did last season, but if you think about it, we never really had a proper left 8. We were constantly tinkering, and in spite of that, all right, not having a left back notwithstanding, but tinkering around with that left 8, we still managed to get where we got to.
Yeah.
You know, that's still no one's nailed that on, have they? No one's like, yeah, I'm the left 8 for Arsenal. There is no one. So that has to be addressed. Mikel hasn't seemed to be content with anyone that he's tried there, right?
Yeah, that leads me to believe that if we had another forward.
Maybe that hurt Odegaard. Whereas when he did have, and I'm sorry to have to bring his name up, Xhaka, but in that last season they found a rhythm, and maybe that was what helped Odegaard. But constantly having this, you know, shifting around. I don't know.
I think
With
I think it
Partey
helped. I think it
and
helped.
Xhaka. With
I
Partey
think
and
it helped.
Xhaka in midfield, Odegaard had his best season. Alonso, go ahead.
I think with Rice being there at the 8 really helped Odegaard out. You know, to finally realize that Rice can be number 8 as well. Though we brought him at number 6, I think Rice is better at number 8, and this is why we're going out for number 6, like Unana or whoever else we're going in for. Maybe Timber can play there too.
History Channel's back.
I hope it's not.
Channel. AFCC channel. History Channel's
Well,
back.
whoever it is, Dan. I mean,
I'm not big on Unana, personally, for me.
No, I'm not
He's
big
not
on him either.
No.
Somebody mentioned him earlier.
He's got a great physique, but I think he's lacking in a lot of other areas.
Yeah.
For me, I think he's a bit of a lummox.
He keeps getting confused with the Manchester United keeper as well. They give him the wrong first name. His name's Ahmed.
Dan, would you go for gummy bears for your left 8, then push Rice back as a 6, or would you use gummy bears as a 6,
Jesus.
Rice as a 8?
Well, I think what we need in our midfield is we've got that. Whoever comes in at left 8 needs to be a box-to-box midfielder. I think that's what we're looking for, is a box-to-box. Someone like a Patrick Vieira. They're defensive, but they can also get up to the front as well. You have Declan Rice as the 6. You've got Martin Odegaard doing his thing, but the next guy, that third person, he needs to be able to do what Xhaka did, and that is to be able to come back and help whoever plays as the 6. The left 8 needs to be able to go box to box. He has to be able to help and sometimes form a 2, but he also needs to help out in attack.
Well, let's
And
just say,
Xhaka
Stan.
managed, and Xhaka, you know, how much I didn't really rate him, but he managed to really pull that off in his last season.
Yeah.
And we haven't found anyone that can do that. If we do buy a 6, then Declan Rice has to be box to box. He then has to take up that box to box role. So he's one or the other. He's either 6 or he's that box to box midfielder, like the Xhaka role.
And let's imagine our left back position has been solved, right? With Calafiori or Timber. Let's just imagine, for instance, we don't have issues at left back, you know, so that helps in the number 6 position as well. You can cover left and right as a 6, not just left.
We got left back, Ray. We just need to use the fucking guy.
Okay, yeah, Kivior was the answer all along. Thomas Partey is one of the most overrated players going. If Arsene Wenger got Jeffrey Konaglia from Monaco 8 years ago, our issues would have been solved. Yeah, and it's the same thing as what was Conte, the player from Leicester, before you got him. Odegaard can't play 8, he doesn't know how to defend. Odegaard leads the press at the front.
He doesn't know how to defend. He defends all the time.
You agree with this, Tony? Because I disagree with this. I think Odegaard is the first one who's pressing from the front.
Doesn't mean you can defend like in a one-on-one situation. Is he going to put a tackle in and take the ball off a player? I don't think we've seen him do that.
No.
At least I don't remember seeing it. So that he can press, yes. He can pressure on the ball.
Remember at Anfield? Remember at Anfield when we got away with that handball, Gary, up at Anfield? When he had his hand down. People say he was playing.
But like I said, it isn't part of his game. He's not a defensive.
What? Does Kevin De Bruyne defend? You know,
it wasn't so much this season.
Bringing up the defense in a player who's not a defender, just like KDB's not a defender.
I didn't make the comment.
Going back there.
His offensive skills
He's good at it. That's why.
Creative attacking midfielder can also help in the defense in the way that they don't have to be making the actual tackle and taking the ball off the other player, but they can come back into the defense, be another body, cut out space, which then allows someone that can make a tackle to make a tackle, because the person on the ball is worried about another body next to him. So that's how you help out. As long as you come back and help out in the space and not just think, well, the ball's gone back in the other half now. I'm an attacking player. I'll just hang around here and wait for the play to come to me. So I'm getting at. And what Odegaard does is, when the ball does get turned over in the opposition half, he is leading the press to win it back high. He leads the press and it causes a fumble sometimes, and somebody else will pick up the ball. So he is defending from the front, and he does come back deep to cut off space and to help the defense make that tackle, if that makes any sense, even though he may not be sliding in and taking the ball.
He did it a lot. He did it a lot 2 years ago because you had Xhaka that was up there attacking. So he had to drop back and be in the defense more. But he's very good at covering back there. He blocks off the passing lanes.
He does cover space. He does cut off passing lanes, but he's never going to be like a fullback or a defender who can defend one-on-one.
He doesn't need to, but you still need to be able to control the ball with or without the ball. You need to control the possession.
Mm-hmm.
That's what he does.
Yeah. Paul Scholes could never defend as well. They always said any player given us injuries issues for at least 2 years in a row should be shipped on. Okay. We got a couple of players.
Should go. Vieira is in his second year. Should be gone.
Yeah.
They've both been injured.
Both of them probably qualify. Yeah. Both of them qualify. History, the challenge back. Rice will play that
7 seasons, and we're going to bring the guillotine down and teabag after 2. Come on. He's had 1.5 seasons. 1.5. Come on.
Xhaka played every game, though. He wasn't ever injured, so injury wasn't the problem. He was always available, which was the terrible part of his game, because he was available all the damn time.
I'm willing to say that if we get to around about February of next year, and Teabag hasn't managed to make himself somehow a contribution to this Arsenal team, then I'll throw my hands up. But I just don't want to throw the towel in yet on him. I really believe in this guy.
There's going to be plenty of games.
There's gold. There's gold in their heels.
Say his name. That's why you want to keep him around.
Stan, can you just say it?
You don't even see good football on him. You're like, I just like that name. That's one reason why you want to have him around.
It might be.
It's not the name.
It might be,
that
Gary.
It actually looks like tea bags.
Or it might not be.
It's the teabag comparison. And Stan, there will be plenty of games for him in the first 3 months.
He needs to take his opportunity. Nothing will please
Premier
me
League.
to see him come good and to see Gary use words.
Premier League, Champions League, we all want to see that.
I want to see people be successful, but they're not doing it. So
you know what's going to happen, though?
What?
He's going to get loaned out. Then we'll have to buy out his contract the next summer.
You know, Ray, don't you dare. I can control
I think there's a show here. I think there's a Gary and Tony show.
No.
You got to remember, right? Mikel Arteta paid
Come on,
35
Gary.
million
No,
for
I don't
him.
want to be anywhere near that guy.
You like a presidential debate. Oh, there I said it. Like a presidential debate. Odegaard pressed his ass off. He's always engaging. So Gary is not interested in a show with Tony. A showdown with Tony. Even a once-off, Gary.
Nobody wants to see that.
Raya seems to be molding into that number 8 Xhaka role. And he seems to fancy a strike from deep with Fabio. So, Stan, there will be plenty of games for Fabio Vieira. Premier League games,
Cup games,
Champions League,
pre-season.
Carabao Cup. Yep.
He's got a pre-season to make himself noticed. You know, he's got an opportunity to work hard in training. If he wants it, he's got an opportunity, right? I mean, we paid 35 million for this guy. And I think, you know, you've only got to look at, you know, Mikel Arteta could have given up on Kai Havertz a lot sooner when things weren't going right. But he gave him acres of time, didn't he? Because he wanted to make it work, because he paid good money for this guy. And I think he's going to give Fabio Vieira, there you go, Gary, that's the full name. He's going to give him the room and the opportunity to succeed. But there's at some point you've got to be able to say it's not happening. You know, I mean, I look at Sambi Lokonga, and they're talking about him going to Seville, and Sambi Lokonga, you know, I thought he did look like an improved player last season in the Premier League to me, but he's not getting that opportunity at Arsenal. That ship has sailed, and I think he's going to Seville, right? Seville look like they're
Lokonga.
Yeah.
It looks like Lokonga is going to be taken on loan with an obligation for 15 million. And
but do you know these obligations to buy? Can I just say, do you know how they work? I found out it's like an obligation to buy. It will say something in the contract like, if the player plays 25 games, then the obligation is triggered. So sometimes you'll see a lone player, all of a sudden they're playing every game, and then game 23, they're not in the team
penalty
anymore.
For Ecuador.
Game 23.
Penalty for Ecuador. Argentina's leading 1-0, right?
So they only played 23 games out of the 25, and it's not triggered. And then they come, because maybe the club wants to go in a different direction, they can't afford it, blah blah blah. So it's not a guaranteed sale with an obligation to buy.
The player will be motivated. He's got to go there and maybe resurrect his career. Goal, Gary? 1-1?
No, it's the penalty suspect. The defender has his hands in front of him like this. I don't know where he's supposed to put his hands on a corner that got deflected by the penalty. So
the whole
but that's not considered a natural position, being like this.
It's an unnatural position. Yeah.
I have this dream about Fabio Vieira being like a Santi Cazorla, like a Bernardo Silva. The stature, small, tricky with the feet, can put off a good shot. And I've seen glimpses of him do it. We've seen him score, put the ball in the area well.
We've seen this.
Something about him. I mean, he had 14 assists from in Portugal. We bought him. There's something there.
Yeah.
You know what? Those 4 players have all this time with Arteta to show him why. I think they've already shown more than enough. Nketiah, Nelson, Milsrufro, like
Yeah.
Vieira. I mean, I know that's the last one they spent money on, but at some point, I don't know. I feel like you have to move on. You know,
Oh,
it's tough.
those players,
But
yeah,
We
definitely.
have to take a loss at some point. I mean, I know Vieira's been around for the least amount of time in terms of Arsenal, but at some point, you know,
You
we
would
I
be-
can
let him
remember a
drag on.
game.
And
I remember a game last season, but I remember the game, but I can't remember who it
Fulham.
was against. And it was like in the last sort of 10 minutes or so, he kind of threw Eddie on, he threw Emil Smith-Rowe on, and may have even put Nelson. It was almost like, okay, come on and show me what you. And they didn't do nothing. They never come on, and then you could probably, that was the moment I thought Arteta's looking at it thinking,
Yeah.
I've given you all of the rope I can. I've given you every chance. You know
Oh,
what I
he
mean?
hits
You're
the
not doing
post.
anything.
he had the
You
goalkeeper
need
going the
more
wrong
than
way and he hits
10
the
minutes.
post.
So he missed
Oh,
it.
it's still 1-0. The goalkeeper went the wrong way and he missed everything. Ay, ay,
Yeah.
ay.
You need to be in there 20, 30 minutes to be in with the flow of a game. You just can't come
Well,
on
I
for
think
5 or 10
I think the
minutes.
point is, Tony,
I've
that
seen
they
other
got
players do
those
it, Tony.
minutes. Huh?
But it was
Hey,
like,
look,
but it
when
was
you get
like they'd
you
had
get a-
chances before that, but this was like the last throw of the dice for me. It was like,
Yeah, and you can tell as well.
Yeah.
1-0 to Argentina, right?
Yeah, and you get your chance, you have to take it. And I think you would know, like what Stan said, it wasn't as if he was doing something and he just didn't pan out. It was like they weren't doing anything. And you're like, why you're not doing anything is you don't get, when you get minutes, you have to put in everything you got. Like when Nketiah comes in and Erdegaard has to force him to press with him. What? No, he should be running all over that pitch. He hasn't played in like weeks. He comes into a match and he won't even press. Come
should
on.
be leading the press.
You know what? He should be leading the press because he's our striker. He's fast. I believe he's faster than Erdegaard. And we see, like, think about it. When he needed money, go back to it. The Chelsea game. Where is he? What was he doing? Putting pressure on the back line. They coughed the ball up and he jumped on it and scores, right?
It's like Stan said that our favorite Belgium on the team, that he couldn't do the job. Then he
Say the
gets a
names,
run of
Tony.
games. He
It's all-
gets a run of
He's always
games.
he's a Riddler. He's the
No,
Riddler.
I don't
Stan.
know what you're
Are
talking
you-
about. We
He's
don't have
talking
no
about
favorite
Trossard. He's
Belgian.
talking
We've got
about
players'
Lekonga. There's
names.
two Belgians.
Call him by their
It's
names.
Trossard.
He's our
Trossard.
favorite one,
His name
Stan.
is
He's
Tony.
our favorite.
I don't call you by any other name than Tony.
Yeah,
Trossard.
he's
Well,
our
not
favorite
legit.
Oklahoman.
I don't say that.
He's a favorite Tonsky.
No,
Well,
I
he's
don't
not
say
it.
that either. His name's Tony.
He's our famous guy with a
Bushman.
fetish for
I'm gonna
leather.
call him Tony. I'm gonna call him Tony.
Leather fetish.
Big boss man. Great trailer.
Tonsky.
Leatherback Tony.
Come on,
Stan
Tonsky.
still thinks I'm a big boss man.
Anyway,
Boss man. All right, where were we? Who were we talking about?
I was talking about the Belgium when he was given a
Yeah,
chance.
our favorite Belgian.
our favourite Belgian.
Are you
Apparently.
trying
Big
to
Andrew
exclude,
says
you're
hot.
trying to exclude the chat box when you say that, Tony, right?
Yeah, they know who I'm talking about.
What's happened to him at the Euros? Is it a problem in at the Euros? Apparently, I've heard Trossard's had some problems. Fallout,
Is
or
there-
taking out the team, or I don't know. Is he a bit of like? Is he always quite young? But what's he said? Arguing with people.
Well,
isn't he?
Well, we saw Kevin De Bruyne have the home.
Oh no! What it was? No, it was. Sorry, it was Trossard's dad come out and criticise the manager, right? And then Trossard was taken out of the team. That was how it
Ooh.
happened. Something
Okay.
happened, and then that's it. I'm remembering now. Trossard did a Ramsey at a Ramsdale. His dad come out and criticised the manager of how he's using his son, and then Trossard was omitted from the team. You know,
Wow.
subbed or anything.
It's weird how they
about.
punish for. It's weird how they
hell.
punish the player. It's like you can't
Keep your
control
nose
your
out.
parents.
Keep your nose out of the business.
Wait.
You know what I mean?
You do have that. Like,
That's like stupid Rabiot's mother that's destroyed his career by trying to get
Adrian
300
Rabiot,
grand for
he
him.
could have had a great Arsenal career if she stayed out of it. You know, he could have come to Arsenal.
He wanted to
and,
come here. I mean,
Yeah.
that was all the way back like 2017 or something. This is a long time ago.
But you do have this situation with some managers, and the Dutch have always been bad at this. They go to tournaments and there's no camaraderie or unity within the squad. Harmony. Same
How
thing
do
with
you not
Belgium
have it
seems to
when
be
you have
happening.
7 international breaks, right?
I don't know. Maybe they don't. Maybe there's certain personalities do not jive and do not like each other, and that's
I've
a little bit.
I've lived in the Netherlands. I've lived in Amsterdam, and it's a very there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, right now they're in the throes of just changing. A lot of elections going on, right? So there seems to be elections happen around about the same time. So many countries, and they're just in the middle of their elections, and they've just voted in their equivalent of what you would call a far right party. So there's a lot of stuff going on within the Netherlands.
They've been drifting that way for a long time, though, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Stan, about 20 years now.
So you have Dutch players who are very
Messi can't
very
put it away.
mentally strong, and they want to do. Messi put it away.
No, he couldn't. He shot it right at the goalkeeper.
Okay, still 1-0 with Argentina. Yeah, but you have that thing going on. The French were like that in 2010 as well in South Africa. The Netherlands have traditionally been like that. Maybe you have the same thing going on with Belgium. I, for one, don't think that Trossard. I don't think Trossard's a bad egg, but you know, you hear with the Zerbi, he came to Arsenal on the back of a falling out with a coach. You heard a little bit of something with Arteta last season that he wanted to play more.
I look at it this way, though. Is someone who's willing to question something and not just go yes, 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 but maybe someone who might question, does that make him a bad egg?
No.
You don't get in that?
No. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, right? Is it because, you know, if someone's willing to knock on the manager's door and go, yeah, I'd like to talk to you because I'd like to talk to you about getting more minutes. Does that make you a bad egg?
No.
Or rather, or should you rather just be sat there pissed off and thinking, I want more minutes, but not actually go and discuss it? Like, put your case forward. Do you know what I'm getting at? So, because someone's called a bad egg, what is it that they've done? Is it because they speak out or they ask for stuff, or they're quite happy?
Especially when
say, listen,
Martinelli
in this position, does that make you a bad egg?
Especially when Martinelli was struggling on that season.
Team, I mean, don't you have to be that way, Stan? That you think
he's been what a bad egg because he doesn't want to play for England? Is he a bad egg? He's got his reasons, right?
He just doesn't like football. Doesn't like football.
He stands up for certain things, what he believes in. He doesn't want to do that. I don't necessarily means you're a bad egg.
Did some of you notice?
It's not like he's going onto like social media going, "Fucking England, they're all fucking shit." The fucking manager. That would be a bad egg.
Did you notice?
I want to do that.
Did you notice, Stan, Gary, Tony, Alonso, if you're there? Did you notice last week when England were a goal down and going out of the competition? The cameras went to Southgate's assistant coach. Not just Southgate, but the cameras went to the assistant coach as well. And that's probably the guy who Ben White has had the difficulties with at those camps. And that's why Ben White is not there because of a bust-up with the one of the assistant coaches. Not sure if it was the second in command or not, but and look, we never know their names, right? I don't know the England assistant coach's name, but yeah, I was interested.
Yeah, but I don't blame him because, as I said it before, and I'm going to repeat it again. For me, looking in from the outside, it doesn't look like an enjoyable role being an England player. It doesn't look like it's something that's enjoyable because of the amount of pressure that's put on you. You know, as I said, you lead up to the tournament, you've got all of the lead up, and you've got all of that. It's coming home, and blah, blah, blah. And then as soon as it starts, the microscope, the pressure. And I think that a lot of these players and some of these players that we've got in this England team right now are some real good players, aren't they? Some real, like, flashy, flary players that can do things. And I think that when they have this amount of scrutiny on them, you get fear. You become fearful. And I think that when you play with fear, what that does is you don't play with any risk. So when you get the ball, instead of trying to like maybe do a pass forward that's going to split the lines, rather than take that risk and it fucks up and the ball's turned over, you don't want to be that guy. You don't want to be that guy in the back of the road that the media put you in the back of the newspapers like they did to Saka. So when you get the ball, what do? You pass it sideways or you pass it backwards because you don't want to be that guy. And I think I can't blame Ben White. I think I'd have a similar attitude. If I was playing for a nice team, getting good money, as much as it would be an honour to play for England, but you know what? I don't need that shit. I've just had a hard season ahead of me. And if I want to play for England, that should be a joy because I'm doing it in my spare time now, like the holidays. But you know what? If it's going to be like that, I'd rather be 2 weeks on the beach, thanks. Don't need that. I don't need all that crap. And then, I'd be called unpatriotic and who does he think he is and blah, 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 blah. But you have to have your own boundaries. Ben White's boundaries is that he didn't like what was going on in the South and he don't want to be a part of it right now. And I don't think that means you're a bad egg. As I say, it's not like he's running around with a loud hailer saying that everybody in England counts a cunt. He's just gone about his business quietly. So, fair play.
Yeah. Alonso.
I think a lot of these. Go ahead.
I got Alonso. Want to jump in?
Yeah, sure.
Let me know. What do you think, Alonso? Who's going to win England versus Switzerland? Who have you got there?
Well, in times I watched England play, right, Southgate doesn't have a clue because he's used so many players at a position, and he doesn't really understand. He can't really do that in a major tournament. And he doesn't look outside the Premier League for help. He thinks that, well, yeah, you play for Premier League and you play for a top club, therefore you're automatically on the team, on England. But he doesn't understand that Joe Gomez can play left back. He doesn't understand that, Foden can play at the number 10. He doesn't understand that, Anthony Gordon is good enough to play on the left wing. Saka can play right. So there's a lot of movements that he doesn't understand, and he's too conservative to make, a certain. He's afraid to make mistakes. Seems like, or he's afraid to be out of ordinary as far as putting players in position to succeed. You're seeing games where I've seen where Harry Kane was just out of it, man. And then, see Drew Bellingham, looking out of place, and they both score at the end of the game. And it's so frustrating because Foden and Kane have yet to link up together, whereas Saka and Kane can do that, but then you have old-ass Kyle Walker, who's out of it seems like. And, it seems like Trippier is so confused on what he's doing to do, that he thinks he's now left wing back because he seems like Southgate has given this role where he could play freely in important games, and he winds up being in Foden's way because he's trying to make things happen that isn't there. So it's a shit show because Southgate hasn't figured it out yet. Yeah. It is, and it's frustrating to watch at times.
I think for me, right, with Gareth Southgate, he's had his hand forced because deep down, if he had his way, he would have taken Marcus Rashford as part of that team, and he would be playing out there on the left now. Deep down, he really would like to have taken a Jordan Henderson, and he would be playing in that midfield perhaps alongside of Declan Rice. But the players that he's had to take instead, because he couldn't take Rashford because he had such a shit season. You can't justify it. You can't, right? So he had to take an Anthony Gordon who plays in that position. Anthony Gordon ain't getting a sniff because he don't know Anthony Gordon and he doesn't trust him because he hasn't got his safety net. He wanted Rashford. That's what he wanted. Look in the midfield now. He wanted to have Henderson in there alongside Rice. but he's reluctant to try. For example, he was so reluctant for so long to put a Mano in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then he tried with Conor, but he was reluctant, weren't he? He went in there with Terence Trent D'Arby, gave him a number 8 shirt,
three different
gave him a
partners.
number 8 shirt, and
Yeah.
because he couldn't, he had his handful. He's like, I want to take these players, but I can't take them. They'll laugh me out of the city if I take this guy, because they've had shit seasons. Rashford, Henderson, but the players that he has taken, it's like, well, why take him if you're not going to play him? And also as well, he kind of treats the squad like he's playing league football and not competition. It's like, if a player is a star player and they're not feeling it, you can take them out. You haven't got to deal with them for the whole season. The tournament will be over and they'll be back at their clubs. It's about the tournament, and you've got to play what's ready now. Do you know what I'm getting at? And if that guy's not working, then that guy has to come out. But he tried to shoehorn everybody in. Everybody knows that Phil Foden should have been playing in the middle, but you got Jude Bellingham. But Jude Bellingham could have come back a little bit. Even that header that he scored, he was coming in from deep. It wouldn't have messed it up that bad. And then we could have had someone on the left, like an Anthony Gordon, and tried that, who is naturally used to that side. And now you've got more of a balance. And you look at teams like Austria, and you look at teams like Georgia, and they probably don't have as much individual talent. And that's why you look at a team like Switzerland. But these are teams that are more balanced. It's a team game. It's not an individual game, as Cristiano Ronaldo found out. It's a team game.
Mm-hmm.
So we've looked very unbalanced, right? And his biggest crime, there's no other left back that he could have taken in the squad alongside Luke Shaw. He put all his eggs in that basket. Yeah. And as Alonso has pointed out, Gomez, who's a little bit like Calafiori in the sense that he's played a lot of games in that position. Why is he not using him and putting Trippier in there?
Yeah.
It's bizarre.
With that being said, let's
doesn't that fall on the FA for not firing Southgate at this point? You got the best team you have for 30 or 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fire him now. You can't fire someone at their quarterfinal stage. It's in the quarterfinals. This is the thing. We're sitting here bitching and moaning, but we're in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, but
I know he was talking about
at the
before
end of the
that.
year that he was pretty much leaving. So,
English players are wary of exposing their weakness to each other when they got to play each other in a title run each year. And it's also a little bit the fear of the pressure of the press. All right. With all that being said, let's go through the 4 matchups this weekend.
Well, can I?
And let's do the England one first.
Gary.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gary.
No, I see some of the Colonel's comments there. It starts with the coaching and goes from there. So Southgate is one of the key things. And the best, what is it? How many players? 18 players or whatever it is that make up the squad. Does he have them in England right now? Best in form going in? No, he doesn't. Right? He has players that haven't even played most of the season on the squad. They can't be in good form, no matter how good they are. So a lot of that it starts with Southgate and goes downhill from there. If he's not a good coach, he's not a good manager. He doesn't know how to manage the squad. Put the players out there to play as one, as you said. You tell me we can't piece together passes right. Every time you listen to anybody who's watching the game. Can England string together 3 passes in a row, please? You hear that over and over again.
Yeah,
we're talking, and it can't be. You know what? We haven't played together much. Are you kidding me? The players right there. You make.
Well, they can if it's going backwards. Sideways.
But it's
6 passes.
Yeah. So I don't. And the best player should be on the pitch. Like for me, Saka, play him wherever you need to play him, but get your best 11 on the pitch. Right? If you feel Gordon and what's his name, the Chelsea player.
Palmer.
Palmer.
Palmer. If you think Palmer needs to play him, and you put Saka back. Who cares? Just get your best 11 out there. England's best 11 should be better than any team they play against on this side of the
make a decision
at the table. All right.
Make a decision.
Want all of you to make a decision.
Stop trying to please everybody and trying to put square pegs in round holes. Make your decision. You can't please everybody.
All
if you've got two right wingers that are basically very, very good, you can only have one. Don't think, well, what am I going to do with the other one? Maybe I'll put that guy, as in the midfield. It doesn't work like that, because now there's a midfielder that could be in there doing a better job. You can't, you know what I mean? You got to make a decision. That's what you're being paid for. Yeah. You're not being paid to keep everybody happy. Yes, somebody might leave the tournament. Hold on. Yes, someone might leave the tournament thinking, I think I should have got more games. But if the team is winning and getting through to the next rounds, and the man, that's what you're being paid for. It's a tournament. It's a knockout phase now.
Yeah. Who's going to win, Stan? England or Swiss?
Well, before the tournament had started, if you said that England are going to get to the quarterfinals and they're going to be facing Switzerland, you'd be rubbing your hands together. But if you look at the way that England have actually navigated their way through, it's not promising. But as much as we are slagging off England, look at France. France haven't scored a goal from open play. They've had own goals and shit.
We're going to get all.
They haven't scored a goal.
Yeah,
France have got through to the quarterfinals. France have got through to the quarterfinals, and they haven't scored a goal in open play yet. So we've done better than that. At least we've scored some goals, right?
Yeah.
But who do I think is going to be between us and Switzerland?
But there's the
hold on, Tony.
I've got
what
prediction.
I've got to say England. I've got to say that maybe they're going to click, because I look at the two squads. I look at the tools that are available, and I would pick the England tools to do the job if I was the workman.
All right, Tony.
England's talent has to come out in the end, and Stan earlier was mentioning like the political stuff. You mentioned Holland going.
All right,
more
Tony.
conservative.
We're gonna keep it moving.
I'm going to why France is struggling, because the players came out.
We're not talking about France. We're talking about England and Switzerland.
They're struggling because of Marine Le Pen. That's why the French are struggling.
There's other things going on in the world.
It's François Mitterrand.
All right. You're going for England as well, Tony. Alonso, I think you're going England, Alonso.
Yeah, I'm going for England. They gotta throw up the men. They gotta score early on this, like any 5th minute stuff. It's so old, with this
England
roster Sake has. There's no excuse.
1-1 after extra time penalties. England go out in penalties in the game. Sorry, Alonso. Go on. Sorry, Alonso.
I think we 2-0 victory, man.
Okay, you got England.
Maybe I'm being ambitious, but
I got the Swiss. Army knife doing it. Gary, Switzerland or England?
I think England's still got enough individual talent to overcome.
Okay.
Get them 2-1 in extra time.
All right. We're going to get all the predictions, so I'll stay with you, Gary. Portugal versus France. And Stan already alluded to France struggling.
Yeah, I mean, both teams are talented, right? So it's going to be a lot of talent. Who's got the player that can put them over the edge? I think France does. Mbappe, I think, turns the needle in their favor. They win. When you win 2-1 to France. And
we got Saliba at the back as well.
We got Saliba at the back, and Saliba so far has not watched his goalkeeper take a ball out of the goal, right? So
yeah, exactly.
So there you go.
So I'll swing back around, Alonso, France.
I think the way both teams have been playing lately, I wouldn't be surprised if it goes extra time in the shootout. I think it'll be Portugal winning. And these knockout rounds are just so iffy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Portugal come out.
You got Portugal. Okay. Tony?
France, they got the defense. They got like 20 center backs.
They
that
got
can do
Saliba.
nothing. And Ububakano and all kinds of other players.
Tony
It's
must be
the-
French. There must
you,
be
you
some.
have to remember, Stan, how many minutes did Saliba play in a World Cup?
Who
Zero.
cares?
I don't
What
know.
is it? We're talking
Why
about the
does that matter?
Euros.
13 minutes.
Why do we care about what
13
happened?
minutes
Like
he played.
History again.
the man's playing now, and is he playing
Fuck
good?
yeah, man.
All right.
Yes.
Stan?
They got a lot of good center backs.
Portugal, France, Stan?
I'm going to go with France just because they haven't, as I say, they haven't scored any goals yet, and Mbappe is going to score goals. That's what he does. So something's going to happen, and I think France is going to start scoring.
Okay. I'll stay with you then, Stan. Netherlands versus Turkey. I'm going with Turkey here.
Yeah,
Pretty
I think
upset.
I think Turkey could be an upset, but don't never discount the Dutch. They've got some good players in that team as well.
Mm-hmm.
You saw Gakpo put a couple away.
It's always one
maybe they're
team that
just
gets to
starting
the
to-
semi. Right?
I saw the Dutch and the French game, and that was very dull. But I think that both of these teams, the Dutch and the French, are going to kind of wake up.
Okay.
I think we're seeing the Dutch wake up now. I do fancy Turkey, but I think the Dutch are going to sneak it.
Okay. Tony.
Flying Dutchman.
Flying Dutchman, Tony. Alonso.
Holland.
Holland. Gary.
Yeah, I guess we're gonna have an upset in one of these games. Probably.
There's always a
Turkey.
team that gets to the semifinals that
Yeah.
you don't think would get there.
So Turkey wins at 1-0. We're gonna see maybe
Who's
see
the first
Gakpo
one?
come back to the Premier League form and miss some easy ones, and Turkey takes advantage. There you go.
Okay. And we'll do a little mini prediction contest with this one. Final one, Gary. Spain, Germany.
Spain,
This is the
Germany. As
toughest
many have said, this is probably the game that
Wins
is
it.
the decider of who
Mm.
gets the trophy at the end.
Mhm.
Germany's home. Musiala has been playing really well, so I think he'll make the difference. Germany wins.
Okay, Alonso.
That's
Spain, Germany.
this one.
Hmm?
This is a close game.
Yes.
I think Spain upset them.
Spain. Alonso goes with Spain. Tony's left the building. Stan. Tony doesn't want to make this prediction. Stan.
I think with
You can go last.
Spain,
Yeah.
it might be a case of they started really well. A team that starts really well in the tournament, and maybe is going to run out of a little bit of steam. So
Mhm.
I'm going to go with the home nation, Germany. I think they've still got a little bit more to offer.
Yeah. I think home soil might just help them. Spain have been scintillating. You have a performance against
Again, though, but
who's
just going back to Turkey as well. Turkey is almost playing at home as well, aren't they? With the amount of support that Turkey have in Germany.
Yeah.
It's like a big Turkish community. I'd love to see Turkey play Germany. That would be a great match. Imagine that.
Yeah.
The noise in the stadium. Jesus.
I'm not sure who's
They're always trying to get rid of most of those Turks that have showed up there.
Wow.
They have all
Good.
these.
This
tips
podcast's taking
everywhere.
on an unusual political tone to it, tonight.
Well, there are millions of Turks that sleeping in northern
All right,
Germany.
Tony. It's about football.
I
Jesus
said the
Christ,
Germans.
man.
I don't know about any of that.
Spain or Germany, Tony?
The Germans.
Stick
Come
to the
on.
script. The Germans. All right, that's the predictions, and we'll see how it goes over the weekend. Actually, games start tomorrow, which is unsatisfactory for people who are working, such as myself, tomorrow. But yeah, that's what's going on in the Euros. Okay, so I think here's my prediction: Arsenal have to do a lot of the business in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So I think in the next 3 weeks we'll see 3 players coming in. Do you think that's a fair point? Arteta historically and Edu have wanted to get their business done before preseason really gets going.
Mhm.
So
I think
Calafiori,
it kind of depends on players who we're looking at who may still be in the tournament or not.
They just scored in the 91st minute.
Ecuador,
Yep,
1-1.
1-1.
Yeah. Yeah, it does depend on the landscape out there, Stan, what's happening.
Italy are out, so now let's talk about
I mean-
Calafiori, right?
Yeah.
So it's, you know what I mean? Teams that are still in and that, it depends on
There's
where
a
you look
German
at.
international we're interested in, but they're still in the competition
Mhm.
and likely to
Gyökeres isn't in the competition, so it could be, you know.
yeah. But I do feel like in the next, so we get Calafiori done in a few days from now, and I'll be.
You seem very
accused-
certain about that, Ray.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I'll be
You feel
accused
very-
of being in the know. I'm not in the know, but
No,
I just,
you always have a good feeling. I'm just not so sure about Italian players leaving.
there's a couple of people I follow who have been just
This would be pretty
tweeting.
unprecedented, I think, for him to make this move. And I think it would
It
show
would
you
be.
the pull. If he makes this move, I think it shows the pull that we have.
And over Chelsea as well, who Chelsea have been
Yeah.
involved in this one. They've been sniffing around this one. You know what I mean?
No-brainer.
Do you want to go to that shit show in Chelsea? You know,
Yeah.
albeit Chelsea play
Shackle
Man
myself
City.
with an 8-year contract. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like a sentence.
Chelsea have been, and they've got City first off. Say we've got Jorginho. Tiger said, you know, we've got Jorginho, and maybe he's the secret agent, the double agent with the Calafiori.
Is Jorginho
Mm.
actually like one? Is you know Jorginho? Can I just ask a question? Is he actually like Brazilian, but has like Italian nationality? Has he got a Brazilian connection?
I know Martinelli has a Brazilian mother.
Yeah, Martinelli's
and-
Brazilian, but I'm saying Jorginho. We talk about Martinelli.
Yeah, I think he was born Brazilian.
It's like like
moved to
Diego
Italy
Costa.
when he was young, I thought.
Diego
Yeah.
Costa's like Brazilian, but he played for Spain. So is it like
Yeah.
that with Jorginho? Is he Brazilian background, but somehow plays for Italy? Because Jorginho and his look, to me, he looks to me kind of a Brazilian.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I would have thought that if it was Jorginho Italian, it would have been spelled with a G, not a J. Do you know what I mean? Giorgio in Italy is spelled with a G.
Yeah,
Giorgio
Giorgio
Armani, right?
Chiellini. Yeah,
He's
Yeah.
definitely.
So I just
Brazilian.
wondered if anyone in the knows, because I keep.
No, he's
thinking,
born
is
in
he actually
Brazil. He was born in
like- So he's
Brazil.
Brazilian descendant. Okay. His
Yeah.
parents are
It's not a
Brazilian.
hot dog.
He moved to Italy. He moved to Italy when he was 15.
So he has
He's,
citizenship.
he's
Okay,
got- he's
I get it.
Italian.
Right.
He's got Italian in his family tree. So.
What's on the menu, Tony?
Spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah. So Alonso, what are your thoughts? Do you think we could get another couple of players in the next 2 weeks and then be ready for preseason in the US?
Yeah, I think that I've been hearing rumors here and there. Calafiori is one of them. And I think from what Fabrizio, right? What's his name?
Fabrizio
Romano.
Ravanelli.
Yeah, whatever his name is. Right. So he was like, yeah,
Fabrizio Ravioli.
we're linked to a player from Germany. Well,
Yes.
anyway, and then we're linked to some English players as well. So hopefully one of them is a striker. Anyway, so yeah, hopefully business will get done before they come to America and start their preseason. But yeah, it seems like recently, I think Arteta and Edu kind of handled our business before all of the preseason stuff happened. So yeah, I mean, I'm so optimistic, really. They got their players they want to bring in, and see what happens.
Gary,
you
if
know
you
what
get
this
two
is?
more,
Do you know what this is? Can I
Huh?
tell you what this is? It's like a tennis racket.
the zapper,
You have a button. You have a button on it, and it's for killing flies and shit.
mosquitoes. Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Yeah.
Well, you're
Oh, stop.
so you get like a little zzz, and like
He
a
did
bird
then.
smell.
Did,
Is that what you got?
didn't
Yeah,
he got a
flies
little,
and shit.
Another one bites the
signal from
dust.
Stan. Yeah,
Tony, you
that
enjoyed
time.
that, didn't you, Tony? You loved that, didn't you?
Yeah. No extra time. They go straight to shootouts.
Penalties,
That's my favorite part of his
or
show so
as
far.
Chris Walden would say, penalties. Chris
Almost had a
Walden, Chris Walden could take a penalty back in the day.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I think we have a lot of business coming in. I think we need to get
So-
3 to 4 players in anyway. So
Gary,
Yeah.
we have two more players coming in. What positions would you like to see them in? Those two players. Let's say we got Calafiori as our left back,
Yep.
and we have Raya as our permanent keeper. Who's your next two spots and what positions?
yeah, we
No.
need a backup goalkeeper, so that's another one. We definitely
Okay.
need another a midfielder.
So you like to finish the back first, the masterpiece of the back.
Well, we
Back line.
definitely need a backup goalkeeper, so that's going to happen one way or the other. So
Yeah.
that's at least one player definitely coming in. I think we need more midfield depth, so that's another player coming in here. We need at least another attacker. Striker would be nice, but any kind of attacker would be good as well. So
Okay.
preferably one that can play on the right. So
Midfield and forward. So I think that's the right way to go, Stan. What do you think? A midfielder.
Yeah,
And
but
a
we
forward.
we only need another midfielder if Partey goes. However, we still don't have anyone to cover for Odegaard, which is a midfield position, but more attacking. That needs to be. We can't count on him to just always be available.
Would you be happy with that kid to do that in one area?
I don't know
One
anything
area.
about him really. I thought he was a right-sided player. I thought he was more of a understudy for Saka. Maybe I'm wrong.
no, he's not. He's not. He's a midfielder.
He could fill. You know, Odegaard's is our club captain, and I'm not saying he's going to play every minute of the season, but he's got to play a lot of minutes in the season, being the captain.
But if anything happens to him,
Yeah.
out of our own doing, like injuries or whatever, or suspensions,
Yeah.
then who is there?
Yeah.
You
Fair.
it's a worrying area
Yeah.
for me. But then there's also
Okay.
the forward area as well, because it seemed that we were really trying to get Lesesco, and then he signed a new contract. So who is it now? What's the plan B? Who are they
Yeah.
looking at? What's going on there?
BX said one area is an attacking midfielder, false nine. So it's kind of the position that Odegaard plays and could be the understudy to Odegaard. I think what we're looking for to understudy Saka and Odegaard in particular would be some young players. That would be you're not going to get an experienced player that's going to come in and be behind Saka or Odegaard, and rotation could be part of that as well. You could phrase it as saying, Jesus, you're going to play on the right wing for me today, and Bukayo is going to rest on the bench until we need him. You know, these are the kind of moves. I don't think you can go out this summer and say, I want you from Bayern Munich to be an understudy to Saka. I don't think you can say that because the player's not going to want to come in that situation. Are we into penalties yet?
commercial still.
Okay. So listen, I think it's a very good place to sign off here, right? The squad just needs to take shape. We're doing the
Do
final.
we not want to
Yeah,
just be around for the penalties anyways? Or no?
We can do that. Why not?
Let's not ask Tony what he thinks of our transfers.
Okay, let's not.
So,
Well, I give you
Tony,
the.
No, let's not.
you talk about the transfers that might happen in the
Yeah.
future, or are you going to talk about the ones that
You're-
happen
You're past tense, Tony.
He said, let's not ask him.
Oh, is that what he
His
said?
word.
All right.
Yeah, he said, let's not ask Tony. I'm cool with that. So,
Well, by the way, Lawrence has taken up a date with Messi over you, Tony.
He actually mentioned your name. He said, I'd rather
Yeah.
watch Messi than
Yeah.
Tony and crayons. So
How dare him?
And he said, make
But-
of that what you will, Tony.
I think I don't think we're to see the moves that we normally see because there are lots of players that will be shifting around. You got Zinchenko, Jesus. Have
Yeah.
to do something for Ramsdale. Then you got all the
Things are going to happen quick.
shit bag 6 still in there. So
Yeah, things are going to happen quick because Arteta is going to be like, no, we have to go to America. We have to start
yeah, but
preseason.
it's closing in quick, right?
I know, but the thing is, Tony, 19 days, okay? But the thing is, we've had 11 months to figure this thing out. This thing doesn't just happen
Yeah, but
in May and June.
other teams announce players in February or March. Why do we have to be linked with these players for like, oh,
I'm going to let you in on a
how many
secret.
How many players from the big squads have been announced?
Well, yeah, you have City that said they're perfectly happy not to sign anybody
Unless there's outgoings.
unless somebody forces a move out. So
Yeah.
So Liverpool.
so why the fuck hasn't Julian Draxler signed that contract yet? I mean, it's taking his time, isn't it?
Messi's going up first.
I thought you were going to talk about Van der
Sign the
Beek.
thing.
Lionel Messi.
Donny.
I thought is Lawrence walking with him, Gary?
Yeah, I have no doubt.
Is he walking with him in spirit or in body?
Yes.
Standing alongside Messi. He's going to whisper in Messi's ear and tell him which corner to go into.
He's got a go-kart engine that he hooked up to his bed.
Let's see. Can Messi?
Arsenal.
Did you get yourself a good Stan?
Arsenio coming to Arsenal last 7 windows, Spencer. What's that, Stan?
Tony's just laughing because I electrocuted myself again.
All right, here we go.
He loves it.
Steps up. Right down them. Oh!
I'm kind of like my
Right down
grandpa,
that-
Stan. My grandpa was always
Right
like
down
somebody
that-
could like
He missed.
fall
He
and
did not make it.
would laugh.
He went down the middle because the goalkeeper did well, but he hit the
Shut up.
post, hit the crossbar,
But seriously,
and over.
He chipped it. Okay.
seriously though,
Down the middle.
that Portuguese keeper saving 3 penalties in a row in
Pasta.
that shootout. I mean,
Yeah.
whether they're
Wow.
bad penalties or whatever, I mean, that's still,
Chelsea will buy him.
Flowers for that.
Chelsea will buy him. That's what he gets for that
Yeah,
stand.
Todd Bowley was like that. Todd Bowley was like, hello,
Hello. 300
I
million.
like looking at
100 million
I like
for
the
every
look
penalty you save. Messi
They
misses.
Maybe probably
That's the thing about penalties.
Ronaldo.
Isn't
Yeah,
that the
whatever.
interesting thing about penalties? The best players can miss penalties.
There we go. Ecuador's about to go.
Where's our former Icelandic goalkeeper at now?
First go. Oh, and it stopped. He picked right, and Martinez, but it got a hand on it. Ouch. So far, 2 shots, 2 red marks. One was a miss by Messi, and the next one was a save by Martinez. He picked right, and it was a terrible,
Baggio missed. Yeah.
terrible. Yeah.
I
Ivan Gunnar.
just think there's so many outs, Ray, is that
The
you
best
can't
players
have all
miss. Tony, the best players can miss penalties.
And goes Julian Alvarez. He'll probably score because he just came on. He's fresh. Let's see what he does here. And he puts it in the top corner. Goalkeeper can't get there.
So- Alvarez is a decent player.
Yeah.
He had understudies for Erling Haaland.
Ecuador had a chance to take a lead here, and oof.
That's why you go hard and low.
It's a 1-0 to Ecuador. Sorry, 1-0 to Argentina. And Ecuador is about to kick their second one here.
Has anyone taken penalties in the chat?
Yeah, there are 3 penalties have been taken.
Yeah, but I think Tiger Girls, has anyone ever taken a penalty in the chat?
Oh, what does that mean?
I have.
Can you take penalties in a chat? I
Like
don't know how you do that.
in a game, probably in a game.
Oh, Martinez gets his second save, and he's doing a grind. He's grinding. When Martinez is dancing, then you know you're in trouble.
Ray and Gary's favorite goalkeeper.
He's doing the pelvic thrust.
He basically was. Yeah.
Alvarez is going to the end, but so
He
is
can't wait to
Lacazette.
get to a mic to talk about Arsenal.
Got a nice. You got
Lacazette.
a big hand on that one.
Tony-
Their shots have been terrible. They're barely
Lacazette-
making it.
Sorry. Lacazette is going to be the captain in the French
All right.
Olympic
So this
team.
is McAllister's up next.
I've only taken one penalty ever, and I did
didn't
score.
think you could.
I did score.
I thought
In a
the
game.
Olympics were pretty much under 23s.
No,
I
you
think
can
you
have
are.
a couple of players over. Oh, goalkeeper goes the wrong way into the corner. Argentina's up 2-0 after their third. Ecuador needs to they're probably gonna need to hit all 3 just to keep this thing close.
Probably, Gary.
2 huge saves
Hey.
from Martinez.
Hey, if
Well done, right? Thank you, Tiger.
you can go to extras. If,
It was rolled right in the corner. Think about Havertz's penalty on the last weekend, and it was just a little bit to the left inside the post. It was pretty
I
well
don't know who this
placed.
Ecuadorian player. He goes first, and he puts it in the top corner.
So what are we at
And
now?
they went wrong
2-1?
there. 2-1 after
2-1.
three shots each. So,
2-1 Argentina.
all right, so here we go. Argentina, they score this one. They can't lose until they get to the 6 rounds.
So they can lose.
Until they get to the 6th. They can't lose until. We're listening to the English. Don't make things up.
Ray's being light and
It's
fast.
a full
He's like,
sentence. If you only listen
Gary,
to half of it, you get half the information.
You could commentate games on radio.
Here we go. And Argentina's up 3-1 now. This is it. This is the money. Can Martinez come up big again? And it's over. Or will Ecuador choke? Will Ecuador hold on?
I don't think they
Gary.
get 6 shots. They got 5 until it's even.
Gary so missed his journey in life to be a
Call.
play-by-play guy.
Play by play.
He could have do the color part.
All right, so here we go. The second is coming up.
You really don't hear him call them color commentators anymore.
There we go.
All right, we'll sign out directly after there was the known.
Here we go. Right up the middle, and Martinez can't get to it, and it's 3-2 after 4. This is it. Argentina hits this one, they will win it. Otherwise, they have to hope for another miss.
I will just want to thank all of you for joining me tonight. Stan, Gary, Tony,
Sounds like
Alonso.
Fallujah
Thank you, everybody, for
outside.
joining us.
It looks like Argentina is going to
So
go.
it comes
through.
off his knee. So here we go. We've got Otamendi up next.
Otamendi.
Otamendi. Here we go.
Pretty.
Here he goes down the middle. If he picks this corner. And he makes it. Hits it right in the corner.
Who
down
else?
the ground low. And it's over.
Who else is
Argentina.
left in the competition now?
Brazil.
Brazil, Argentina.
Yeah.
Canada.
Semifinals. Semifinals. Alonso?
These are the quarterfinals right now.
Okay, so Brazil and Argentina are in.
No, they're in the quarterfinals, but
Okay.
this is the first quarterfinals game.
Okay.
Somebody getting attacked by seagulls.
Well, he's got his bat to protect him. Does it kill seagulls too?
He's too busy electrocuting himself to hit a seagull.
So let's see. Venezuela and Canada play tomorrow.
Canada,
And
yeah.
then on Saturday, you've got Uruguay and Brazil, which should be a good one because Uruguay has been lighting it up. Brazil's been struggling, and Colombia and Panama also. So Uruguay could be the surprise upset because they've been playing really well.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, they've got a good manager there, huh?
Peru. Well, Peru are not in it.
Who said Peru?
Tiger and Gunner.
No.
All right. So I think we'll leave it there. Gary, Alonso, Tony, Stan, thanks for joining tonight. It was a good one.
See you guys.
And we'll see you on the next one. Okay.
See you guys.
Thanks, Alonso. Take
See you
care.
guys.
Thanks,
See ya.
Tony.